Thomas Tuchel's busy trying to bring glory back to England for the first time since '66. But how did he get here? Well, from the sleepy town of Krumbach via some giants of European football, here's his journey to Wembley. Sitting around 60 miles west of Munich, Krumbach's population is less than 14,000 people. But Tuchel's friends there remember a boy whose ambitions lay far beyond the Bavarian community. His will to win was evident early. Tuchel often captained his youth football teams, and his school side lifted the national German football trophy in 1987. The sport took the young defender on a whistle-stop tour of South Germany, from Augsburg to Stuttgart and then Ulm. A knee injury ended his playing career at the age of 25, though. Tuchel accepted his first coaching role in the Stuttgart youth setup in 2000, hired by none other than Ralf Rangnick. Under Tuchel's stewardship, the club's under-19s won their league title in 2005. But Stuttgart chose not to renew his contract, feeling Tuchel had an abrasive personality. He went on to manage Augsburg's second team before spending 5 years at the helm at Mainz. He then followed in Jurgen Klopp's footsteps and moved from Mainz to Dortmund. Here, Tuchel secured his first major silverware, the German Cup, in 2017. 8 more major trophies came next for Tuchel in just 5 glorious seasons. He won 2 Ligue 1 titles and a pair of domestic cups as PSG boss. At Chelsea, he famously lifted the Champions League, as well as a Super Cup and a Club World Cup, and he also bagged a Bundesliga at Bayern Munich. And then, 4 months after leaving Bayern, Tuchel was unveiled as England's new manager.
I always wanted to come back to England. That was my big goal. I have the best memories of the country, of the league and of the players, the attitude towards the game, the attitudes from the supporters.
Well, here's hoping Tuchel can finally drag England over the line at a major tournament.
Good morning to you. It is, nearly 5 minutes past 6 o'clock, Tuesday, November the 11th. This is talkSPORT. Breakfast with Arnold Clark at the UK's best used car deals. Guaranteed. I'm Jeff Stelling. And Ally McCoist, would you like to say, is alongside me. Morning, Coisty.
How are you, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. But got to ask you straight away, how was he of the raised eyebrow?
Magnificent.
Carlo Ancelotti yesterday.
Oh, magnificent.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'd said to him at the end of it, I said, Carlo, if you've enjoyed this conversation half as much as I have, then I'll be delighted. About 50 minutes. We just sat and we blathered. And do you know something, Jeff? I think I said to you in there, I never ever looked at my notes once.
Yeah.
I had a couple of, obviously did a bit of work on it and bits and pieces, but the whole thing was great. We just flowed. We spoke about him growing up as a kid, his father, not a lot of money. Father was a cheese farmer up in the Parmigiana region of northern Italy.
How do you become a cheese farmer?
No idea. Well, I do now. It was into him and his father and his mother ran the business.
All right.
And his sister, and he worked on it early and things like that. And then he went to bits and pieces. He went to Parma, started playing football, went to Parma as a kid. And that was him. He was away, I think, about 16 years of age. I was away for 6 days of the week. He would get back one day. It's a big change to his system and all that. Spoke about all that. And then, do you know, when I was talking to him, you write it down, you're doing your notes, but it's not until you hear him speaking. He has played with and coached by far and away the best, the absolute best. There's a wee twinkle in his eye, look, because I was talking to him about the Italian players that I played against back in the day, and we're talking about Italian defenders, and he was obviously talking about the best. He was talking about Costa Curta, Baresi, Maldini and stuff like that. And I took him back. I said, I remember Farke. I said, I didn't play against him, but I remember Farke. But I did play against Big Bergomi. I played against Bergomi when he was 16, went to Milan. And Colavati, Fulvio Colavati, and his wee face, because he liked to get back. Yeah. And he liked talking about some of the old Italian players. So I had a brilliant. And Paul Clement was there as well. And he was in great form. And Paul's come on the show on numerous occasions. Says he's looking forward to speaking to us again. So brilliant it was, really good. But I don't mind telling you, we normally get an hour's kip. You and I was tired. I was tired last night, very tired. But it was a brilliant day. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And they've got, who's it they play at the weekend? Is it Senegal they play at the weekend at the Emirates?
Right.
Yeah. So I said to him, I mean, his record's unbelievable, Jeff. 2 Champions Leagues as a player, 5 as a coach. He's the only manager to win the top flight and the top 5 divisions in Europe. And I said to him, what happens next? I said, you win the World Cup with Brazil. I said, you've got to surely just ride off into the sunset, haven't you? Tip your cowboy hat and away you go. Yeah. And he was laughing. I don't think he's got any plans to retire, and he just loves it.
No, well, we talked yesterday about managerial greats, didn't we?
Yeah.
And you'd have to include him in any conversation.
Absolutely. You think about it. He's won the league, Chelsea, PSG, Bayern, Real Madrid, Milan.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby, is it? Brilliant. And he was in great form.
Now, look, while you were whisked away yesterday to go and interview Carlo, I was joined by the voice of live football, Adrian Durham, here. And, of course, the big story that dominated our conversation was Peterborough beating Leyton Orient by 5-0 in Luke Williams' first league game in charge. But aside from that, we talked a lot about Liverpool and how much there needs to be fixed. Adrian had this to say on Liverpool's recent form of 5 defeats in 6 league games.
I think the biggest issue they've got, the biggest problem Liverpool have got at this moment in time is Mo Salah, who clearly doesn't work hard enough going the other way. And for me, yes, he has scored goals this season. It's not like he hasn't scored any goals at all, but is he scoring enough goals to be allowed that freedom not to do the job for the team? That's a big problem. It's a big, bold manager who drops Mo Salah on a regular basis. As a one-off, yeah, fine, but on a regular basis, you leave him out. And when you bear in mind they've got Ekitike, they've got Isak, they've got players that can play in those positions. I'm looking at that situation, thinking, I'm wondering when Mo Salah is going to be left out of the team.
Yeah, and I think I would concur that Mo Salah is a problem at Liverpool at the moment. But the biggest problem, I'm not so sure about that.
No, I'm with you. We've said it a long time, and I'll say it again. If there is one player in the blinking league that we can cut a little bit of slack to because he's been outrageous, it would be Mo Salah. But we're not doing our jobs if we don't, say what we see. And there, without doubt, has been a drop in his form. A drop in his standards. I'm not sure. Well, I don't think he's ever been one for defending and chasing left fullbacks back the other way. I don't think he's ever been one for that. I wouldn't go as far to say
he's never needed to.
No,
they've never asked that of him.
No. But it is a problem, one of the problems, because if he ups his game a little bit, I think it's pretty straightforward. I think Liverpool start winning games that they've not been winning. I think it's as simple as that. I think it's that big an effect on the team. But they've got other problems, definitely other problems. Centre forward that we just spent a lot of money on from Newcastle.
Yeah.
Would certainly come into the equation. McAllister's not get going again.
Central defender.
Kanate, in particular.
Yeah.
In particular, Kanate. Fullbacks.
Yeah.
Verts. So there's 5 for you straight away.
Lots and lots of problems.
Yeah.
I mean, Liverpool's defeat at City, obviously it leaves them 8 points adrift of Arsenal at the top of the table. Martin Keown thinks, as we all do really, it's a huge worry for Arne Slot.
I don't know whether or not the manager's lost them a little bit. He's very pragmatic afterwards. This is a bit of a crisis for him now.
Yep.
You know, there's 7 defeats this season. Performances have fallen well short of where they were last season. It was quite magnificent last season. He's got to get that back, but it doesn't look as if he's got the players completely on board. They were better in the second half, but the game was won by then.
5 defeats in the league, obviously. It doesn't look as if the players are on board. Where does he see that?
No, that's what I don't get. Right, I don't get. I just don't get that at all, because we're now saying any drop in form or any drop in standards is the manager losing the players.
Yeah,
no, I don't agree with that at all.
I saw people like, there weren't many great performances the weekend, if any. I saw people like Dominic Soboslai still playing his heart out, regardless.
Oh yeah, and they have been. They definitely have been. I just think there's been a drop in form. I mean, you speak about the position. Frimpong, obviously, in the right back position, has been injured. Bradley's come in and done well. The weekend aside, where he was up, any right back in the planet would have struggled to handle Doku at the weekend and Sunday. The left full back, Kerkez, has struggled to grasp his form from Bournemouth.
Yeah, and Andy Robertson, when he's been playing as well, has also been prone to a mishap or two.
Yep, I'd accept that. And then I mentioned in the middle of the park, they've missed Gravenberg, but I know he's back, but they've certainly missed him. McAllister hasn't get going really to anything like the form that he has. And up front, I think the Gakpo, I know he didn't start. Gakpo was the one constant probably that has been the better of it. Ekitiki's played well, quiet the weekend, but Salah on the right hand side. So they've, it's not as if, as mentioned earlier, Jeff, they've got one problem that they could focus on and fix. There's 4 or 5 things, but I just think their players are too good not to. A bit like City last year.
Yeah,
I mean, that was nobody could legislate for that.
Yeah, it's incredibly hard to win a title. It's even harder to win a title again the following season, to defend that title. And I think they've suffered because their signings haven't kicked in straight away. But it's the players they've lost as well. Luis Diaz, and Trent, even Nunez, and of course, poor old Diogo Jota.
Yeah.
And that, whatever people say, that must have an impact on the dressing room. They were his mates, his friends.
Of course it does.
That is bound to have an effect. So I think there are lots of reasons. But who's in the dressing room? I don't see that.
No, not at all. I'm not having that, Jeff. I'm really not having that. Arne Slot losing players and losing the dressing room. That's a non-starter for me. It really is. Because these players are professional pride now and playing for the manager, playing for themselves and playing for the club and playing for the support. But I think you make a great point. You do. I mean, they have lost an awful lot of goals out their team. That said, the problem has been at the other end. There is no doubt about that. I haven't mentioned Alisson. Yeah. Mamardashvili is a good goalie. Alisson's a great goalie. That's the difference. And they have lost, I think, a couple of games ago, Jeff, I was doing Liverpool and the stats were incredible. At that point last season, they'd lost 3 goals. And I think at that point, it was 14 this season.
Yeah.
Now that's not just a jump, that's a humongous jump.
Yeah.
So, we can say that they've lost a lot of goals out their team, and they have, whether it's Nunez, Shea Diaz, and the tragic circumstances surrounded Jota, which you've mentioned. But it looks to me the bigger problem is at the other end, and that's even including the loss of form from Salah.
Yeah. I looked, I'm sure yesterday I looked. This time last season they had 31 points. This season they've got 18. So, there are massive issues, but a whole host of reasons, I think. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to the back page as we continue the discussion with Liverpool, because they're taking on the PGMOL after the Virgil van Dijk disallowed goal. What a waste of time. Good morning, 6:19. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Ally McCoist is with us. The lineup, of course, for this year's I'm a Celebrity has been released. Oh dear. The likes of Jack Osborne, Alex Scott, H, Angry Ginge, amongst those heading down there. Martin Kemp, yeah. Look, I'm looking at it. There's no headliner. Where's the headliner? Where's the Ian Wright? Where's the Harry Redknapp? Where's the Boy George? Where's the Peter Andre? Where's the Noel Edmonds? Where's even the blooming Nigel Farage? Where's the Ally McCoist? Where's the Sam Quek? You know, I mean, you've
done it, mate.
I know you've done it, Sam. I know. And Coisty almost did it last year. But to me, it lacks a bit of stardust. What do you think?
I'm with you. I've got to say, I'm with you. That said, we'll watch it. We will watch it because the kids love it and we watch it as a family.
Why wouldn't you do it then? If you got asked last year, why wouldn't you do it? You'd be class.
It's just time, isn't it? And
Fee not big enough.
No, it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's right to slap bang in the middle of the Champions League football as well. Do you know what I mean? It would be brilliant. You loved it, eh?
It was great. I went into it off the back of the Olympics. So very naive to TV, public eye. 2016, November 2016, I flew out.
That's unbelievable.
Just off the back of the Olympics.
It's amazing.
You're talking 9 years ago?
Yeah. God,
Sam, I swear I'd have said 4 or 5.
Mad, innit? Thanks. That's because I look so youthful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just say Billy's just texted and says, please let Jeff know we don't want to watch the old people he mentions. Yeah, that's you two I think he's talking about.
I was just very impressed with the H. Do you know who H is?
No.
No. He's like a
He's a rapper.
rapper.
Is he a rapper, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more intrigued at Angry Ginge.
Angry Ginger's favourite to win. He's a massive YouTube star, isn't he? He started his Twitch channel in his bedroom at home in Salford, and now he's this mega YouTube star. He's famous, isn't he? YouTuber. He sits in front of Twitch, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Does he dance?
He
Does
does.
he sing?
He just chats.
This is for Billy as much as
Seriously?
anything else. Okay, there's Billy as much as anything else because he's having a dig, isn't he? Really, when he says we don't want to watch the old people he mentions. Well, I would tell you, Billy, that Traitors had a lineup which included Stephen Fry,
magnificent.
Celia Imrie, Jonathan Ross, Alan Carr, Claire Balding, Tom Daly. You know, those old people, by the way, Billy, they attracted record audiences for Traitors. And all I'm saying is that the I'm a Celebrity lineup, in comparison to that, whoa, it's not in the same
I think
league.
you've got to have a mix. I get it. You've got to have a mix. I take your point. I mean, when somebody throws a name right at you, you think, oh, good, this will
There's normally one name like that, former pro, isn't there?
Big name.
No one in there this year.
To me, there's just I just don't see a big headline making name in there.
Got to get yourself in there, Jeff.
Not a chance.
Not a bit of Strictly either. Get them hips going.
Oh, that's another story of what we're not going to. Right, let's move on. Let's take a look at the back pages with Tesco Mobile for Business.
Backpage review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. Sign up today to get a £60 welcome bonus on our Black Friday deals. Offer ends 1st of December. Terms and verification at tescomobile.com/business.
So, Sam, what have we got?
What have we got? Okay, a busy one and a mix of back pages headlines. We're going to start with the Manchester club, Wythenshawe AFC. This is hitting headlines this morning because they beat a team 13-0. It is an amateur vets team based up in Manchester, and they've got 9 former Premier League players in their current squad. The likes of Danny Drinkwater, Papa Cisse, Jolien Lescott, Emil Heskey have all featured. 222 Premier League goals and 325 international caps in this team. And the likes of Wayne Rooney are keen to get involved. Conor McGregor has asked them if they want to go to Dublin for a bit of a match.
Exhibition.
It's great. No
I love
warm-up,
it.
Sunday League. Just rock up and have a bit of fun.
I think I saw it. Did the big fella, did Cisse no miss a penalty and score a hat-trick? I'm sure he did. I saw him. On the, might have been an Angry Ginge YouTube page, but I saw it on the phone. I'm all for it. I'm all for the boys having a kick, whether it's in the Sunday League or whatever it may be.
Oh, they'll get that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But you're
Put
right.
the big shin pads on.
You're right to mention that because
If you're in the opposition, all you're thinking is, I'll kick lumps out of this boy, you know?
I know.
I mean, I can't match him in terms of footballing ability, but it's a great opportunity, isn't it? You know?
At the same time, I think for a lot of the boys, they would look on it as a genuine thrill to play with some of these guys or be in the same pitch as some of these guys. Yeah, I don't know, Jeff. I think you would get more of the opposition thankful for the opportunity to play
We don't
against
want to
them.
lose 13-0.
No.
So one way to stop them from
I think they
beating
would
you
have that
13-0.
mindset, Ali, probably for the first, 15, 20 minutes. And then they start getting the mick taken out of them, flicks around them, passed around them. You just get fuming.
I hear you. But you got to remember, these guys have played at the top level, man.
I know.
They can look after themselves. Do you know what I mean? They are not amateurs, although they are now. They've got a professional head on, so they can see these tackles coming. And if it came to it, they could dish it out themselves, right? So
They can
they
see
don't
them coming,
want
but
that.
they're going to be late and
They
hard,
want
aren't
to
they?
go and play and enjoy it, but the other side of it, although they wouldn't want it and they wouldn't welcome it, it wouldn't. Believe me, it wouldn't be a problem to them.
But yeah, so that's a headline, a good discussion point. And also we were asking earlier on an early breakfast, who would you have in your Sunday League team? So people still want to get in touch, let us know. Elsewhere, this headline has come And it's been a talking point for many years, especially after the Paris Olympic Games. And it's the news that the International Olympic Committee are set to announce a ban on transgender women in female competition after a science-based review of evidence about permanent physical advantage of being born male. So that is shortly going to be announced to become official going forward in Olympic competition. And another story which is still dominating.
So what is it? Just in a nutshell, there's no men allowed in women's sport. Is that what we're saying?
Take that as you please, Ali.
Yeah. I love the fact, though, it's a science-based report. Seriously?
Well, let's take 6 years to come to that decision.
Yeah.
Do you know something? I'm guessing Jeff and I could have told them that, without the DNA tests and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? It is difficult because obviously being a woman who's competed in the Olympics and elite sport, the problem is for me, you can't ban anyone from the Olympics because everyone has a right to compete at the highest level.
Yes.
If you're amazing at it, you have a right. That's the problem, the word ban. So you need a separate category. But I think this decision is the right one, personally, having experience played with boys at football at the age of 7 up to 11, then women. I played with lads football. Even now I play in a men's team on a Monday night. I go training football, and the physical advantage is ridiculous.
Would you? That's my point.
No,
Well, if I was playing against her, yes, I would. Because it would be the only way I could possibly stop her.
Big shout out to the lads as well who are in the posties this morning.
Look at her and look at me
Scandalous,
posting.
Stelling.
No, but
That's
look at the
scandalous.
difference,
I thought you're a gentleman. You let her play, take a touch.
No, like you say, I've got the skill and the ability to get the ball out of my feet before those big tackles come in. But moving on to football, Liverpool are still dominating the back pages.
Yeah.
They've contacted PGMOL to raise significant concerns over Van Dijk's disallowed goal yesterday. And I know what your thoughts are. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
So my question was going to be that. But is there a bigger picture that Liverpool are raising these concerns to make sure that these mistakes don't happen? Because there's a grey area, but there needs to surely be some consistency, especially when it's the same referee making a different decision last year.
Yeah, 100%. Excuse me, guys. There should be consistency, but no matter the outcome of the meeting, there will still be mistakes because that's just the nature of the beast, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's human error.
Yeah.
That's all it is,
Yeah. My only problem is sometimes looking at it, and maybe not so much with that one, but I mean, I'd have given a goal all day, and I think the goal should have stood. But I think the problem that a lot of the supporters, and maybe myself have, is not the human error. It's the potential for human error looking at a human error. That's the problem I've got with VAR.
This is getting complicated.
You started it. Right? You started it.
So we've concluded it's a waste of time.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a bit of signalling for their fans, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
And I think it's maybe a bit to take a focus off the fact that they have lost 5 times this season and they are so far off the pace. But hey, just the cynic in me. Thank you, Sam. That was a look at today's back pages with Tesco Mobile. For business, just briefly, Jamie Phillips says Angry Ginge is massive. It's just Ali and Jeff who ain't with the times. Jamie, I take your point, but believe me, it's not just Ali and me who are not with the times, as you would say. Coming up with Rob Edwards getting so much stick for his anticipated move to Wolves from Borough, we're asking the question, is there or has there ever been any loyalty in football? We'll discuss that next.
Backpage review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. Sign up today to get a £60 welcome bonus on our Black Friday deals. Offer ends 1st of December. Terms and verification at tescomobile.com/business.
when was the last time you saw someone score with a knuckleball free kick? We're going to take a look at why we're not seeing them anymore and explain a bit about how they work. The knuckleball peaked in the 2010s after that Ronaldo strike against Portsmouth in 2008 inspired academy players everywhere. Here's a young Mason Mount.
I tried to base my free kick on Ronaldo, hit the ball by the valve and it moves. So what do? Top corner.
Now, no ball is perfectly aerodynamic, so as it travels it creates ever-changing pockets of turbulent air, causing that unpredictable movement. Football's most prolific free kick taker, Juninho Pernambucano, perfected the technique but didn't invent it. He was inspired by players from the 90s and even the 50s. So how do you do it? You have to hit the ball head on with as short a contact time as possible so the ball doesn't spin. Hitting by the valve helps with that short contact time as it's the hardest part of the football. So why don't we see knuckleballs much anymore? It's because players are being told not to shoot from dead ball situations because the XG is so low. In fact, as Opta shows here, since the 08-09 season there's been a 10% reduction in players shooting from free kicks in the Premier League. And in 23-24, a record low of 11 free kicks found the back of the net. And the knuckleball, though spectacular, is imprecise, which is why it's becoming a thing of the past.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and our good friends at Arnold Clark. Get £750 off any used electric car or home charger. Now, as Rob Edwards prepares to ditch Middlesbrough after less than 5 months in charge to join Wolves, we thought we would ask the question, is there any loyalty at all left in football? Indeed, has there ever been any loyalty in football? So, Coisty,
Yes.
Job comes along for Rob Edwards, close to his family. He has an 11-year-old son, at a club that he played for and captained. Why would he not be tempted?
I think it's plain and simple reason. And, well, in answer to that question, there's probably no reason why he wouldn't be tempted. But there's certainly reasons why he wouldn't take it. And the obvious one being, there's probably a better than average chance that those two clubs could be passing each other. So that's, for me, the main reason. But in terms of what you've just said there, tempt anybody, wouldn't it? A move closer to home, where your family is, with the connections to the work, if you like, that you've had previously. So bearing all that in mind, of course you'd be tempted. And then there's probably the added incentive of the financial reward, which I'm guessing, as I don't know, but you think it would probably be greater as well. So taking all these things into account, there is absolutely no doubt it would tempt somebody, but you got to balance the whole thing up. Is it a good, it's certainly a good move in terms of, going back to where your roots, if you like, and go back to family. But is it a good move professionally? Will it benefit you in the long run, that move? That's what he's got to deal with.
But people are criticising his lack of loyalty. We'll come to that in a moment. But loyalty is a two-way street, and if you look at clubs, Frank de Boer got 4 league games at Crystal Palace. Ange Postecoglou got 39 days at Nottingham Forest, Edwards himself, when he was at Watford, got 10 games, something like that. So there is no loyalty from the clubs. Why should there be loyalty from managers or indeed players?
Well, what we're effectively saying here is there should be loyalty putting it like that, we're maybe implying there should be more loyalty in football, but no other profession. Well, you just take the football out of the matter. Just take the profession out the move, right? Just say he's at whatever he is. He's got another profession. It's not football. We're not having this conversation because it's a no-brainer. That's because if somebody, whether you're an electrician, you know, a train driver, whatever it may be, a doctor, I don't know. But if somebody offers you what you see as an opportunity, you know, that's going to benefit you, and you think it's going to benefit you financially and benefit your lifestyle, if you like, then everybody would take it.
But if you're an electrician, you know, if you're a half-decent electrician, you ain't going to be risking losing your job 3 months later once you've made that move.
No, that's true. However, if, you know, that same electrician, you know, doesn't know for certain that he's going to keep the job that he's in either. Because you just said how quickly it can change. I mean, I've got to say, I think the Middlesbrough probably a different, you know, the owner up there, and he's been different class. Let's put that out there straight away. He has been absolutely different level. But there's no guarantees that he's going to keep that job if he stays there anyway.
Yeah,
that's my point, because how difficult and how and you mentioned it. You look at the guy, it can change like that. You lose 4 or 5 games, bang, you're away. It's simple. So, you know, I think the electrician probably keeps his job. There's a greater chance of him keeping his job if he doesn't go than a football manager. So I've got to say, I understand it, and I like loyalty. I mean, I was 15 years as a player at the one club myself, and I wouldn't have dreamt of going anywhere else. It helps so, because if it's a club you support, grow up supporting. So from that point of view, it's not so much loyalty, it's just something that you would do. But I don't understand the levels of criticism, particularly put at people in football who want to better themselves. Now, that's up for debate whether you are bettering yourself, but in their opinion, that you are going to better yourself, and it's a gamble they would take.
His family, for instance, you know, I know it comes with the job, but live, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours drive away from Middlesbrough. You are sacrificing a huge amount, and I know the rewards are enormous as well. And maybe he's had 14 league games there. Maybe he doesn't feel that attachment. For instance, you were saying, well, you know, the attachment to your clubs, but maybe he doesn't feel that attachment. He hasn't had time for that attachment to develop at Middlesbrough.
That's my point. Yeah. You look at, if we're going to use the word loyalty, the vast majority probably of when we look at it and we regard it as loyalty will be with people that have an affiliation, an affection, genuine affection for the club. Whether it's Totti, whether it's Steven Gerrard, guys like that, right? I think there's more chance of them, I'm loath to use the word loyalty, right? But there's more chance of them staying where they are because of, as I said, mentioned the affiliation and the love, genuinely love for the club that they have, than somebody perhaps, I don't know, somebody that comes from London and goes up to Liverpool, or vice versa. So I get it. You know, I do get it. I don't have a problem at all. You know, where I have a problem, I have a problem with the flip side of the coin. And the flip side of the coin is somebody like Isak, for example, in my opinion, throwing the toys out the pram and refusing to honour his contract when he was willing to sign it. That's the problem I have more than the other way.
Yeah, but it's exactly the same, because Rob Edwards seemingly didn't want to honour his contract that he'd just been given at Middlesbrough. Well, so it's the same thing.
Yeah, of course it is. But the deal that I've got there with Rob Edwards is he signed that contract, right? Absolutely. I think you should honour it, because as soon as you sign the contract, if you're happy to sign a 3-year contract, it doesn't matter if you're a manager or a player, you think to yourself, well, that's where I'm going to be for the next 3 years. That's the first thing you have to get in your head, right? But whether it's a manager like Rob Edwards or a player like Isak, you've got a problem if you're the owner of the club, or indeed the manager of the club with Isak, if somebody says, I want to leave, right? I mean, that's where I've got a problem. Yeah, you mentioned Robert Edwards wanting to better himself, and he's doing the exact same thing. And I do take that point. You know, if you're not honouring a contract, I think that's one of the biggest problems.
Yeah,
but we see it all the time.
And I wouldn't say, I'm with you. I don't think necessarily he's bettering himself. I don't see that.
I'm not sure either.
Mentioned yesterday, that Middlesbrough is, that there's every chance that they'll be in the top division next season, and that Wolves will be lower down. And Wolves' lack of ambition has been obvious over the years. All the owners seem to have looked at is survival in the Premier League, and they sell their best players year after year after year. I think what sticks in the craw of Middlesbrough fans over Rob Edwards was some of the quotes just before he was stood down.
Yep.
He said, "I love being Middlesbrough manager. That's all I want to think about. I haven't given Wolves a single thought because all of my focus is on this." At his first press conference in July, he says, "I know how lucky I am to be here. This is a special club." Since then, he said, "If we can commit to sticking together and showing grit and fight, that can carry you a long way."
Yeah,
I think all of those comments, they're the things that frustrate Middlesbrough fans, to say those things and then at the first opportunity to be off.
I don't disagree. I mean, those quotes, there's anything else will come back to haunt you, and it looks as though they have. It's a really, really difficult situation, but it's the kind of same boat. If the club can very much come in and say, "Look, we're not letting you speak to him," and that's it, finished. And then the matter should be resolved. That should be it. Unless, a bit like a transfer, I use Isaac again. If Newcastle have said to Liverpool, "Right, we want 150 million, that's it. If we're not getting it, we'll catch you later," right? Then at least Liverpool know what they've got to do, right? But in that case, Isaac forces the hand because he doesn't honour his contract by turning up for work. That's the problem. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of the Rob Edwards situation at Middlesbrough. My point is, if Rob Edwards has said, "Right, I'm not coming into work," which I don't think he has, that's bang out of order. But if Middlesbrough had said to Wolves, "That's what the compensation we want, we don't want to lose him," or "We're not losing him, simple as," then that's a different issue, I think. It's all about, and I keep going on about it, contracts nowadays. I mean, there's hardly any point in saying them.
No, well, there isn't any point, is there? I mean, there's no point at all, really. And I'm absolutely certain that Rob Edwards did not say, I'm not going to work, I'm not going to honour my contract. It was the club that said, "We don't want you in the dugout against Birmingham because of circumstances." Yeah. I mean,
but I get that. But see now, here's the one now, Jeff. I don't know whether you agree or not. I'm looking at that now. I mean, it was clear after day one with Isaac, for me. There was no way back, right? And Eddie's got to come out and say the right things. Well, we want to welcome him back in and all that kind of stuff. I get that, right? Because you got to say that. You can't shut the door in somebody's face. But the fact of the matter was, that was dead and buried. As soon as he said, "I'm not coming back," it had gone too far. It had absolutely gone too far. He wasn't getting back in the dressing room. Everything. This has probably gone too far as well with the Middlesbrough support.
Oh, no question. No question. Rob could never go back there. It would never be accepted back there. I mean, I think the only compensation, as far as Middlesbrough fans are concerned as well, there are compensations. One is he didn't go to a local rival. He didn't go to a championship rival either, which would have been even worse. Two, there are some big names in the frame for the Middlesbrough job. And from Rob Edwards' point of view, when this came out, he knows the name of the game. He'll have understood what sort of flack he was going to get. There's no question about that. So it's exactly as you say. It's almost as if you should employ someone and say, "Look, we're not going to give you a contract because the chances are we're not going to honour it, or you're not going to honour it. One of the two. So it's a complete waste of paper." Which is what seems to be what it is, doesn't it? It's not been confirmed yet, of course. We are expecting confirmation today that Rob Edwards will be named as the manager of Wolves.
It's a long way back if it doesn't happen.
Oh, absolutely. And that there will be significant compensation paid to Middlesbrough. And amongst those being linked with a move to Middlesbrough to take over in the manager's chair, Gary O'Neill, Steven Gerrard, and how about this? Gareth Southgate. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
A content creator and Arsenal fan, Joel Bayer, will join us after Arsenal's slight slip at Sunderland. Man City just 4 points behind the Gunners now. We know what happened the last time City chased down Arsenal. And that was a look ahead with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
Good morning, very nearly 6:53. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Ally McCoist. Now, yesterday morning we built up to the shock news that Alan Brazil would be running in the 1:30 at Kempton. Well, he didn't do half bad.
There we are.
And Alan Brazil and Breeze Through Life takes that one well, and there's a chance for a third spot here, and this would be a very encouraging run. Coming now, fresh kicks, never been headed, Casino de Mott, and running on is Alan Brazil. Wow, finding some stamina from somewhere, not going to win, jumps that final flight and actually jumps it pretty well. So actually, Alan Brazil has not been a total embarrassment.
Rupert Bell there on commentary. I'm pleased to say the trainer of Alan Brazil joins us now, Nick Schofield. Morning, Nick.
Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. How's it going?
It's
Yeah,
going really
good.
well. I've got to say, before Jeff goes on, I mean, with the greatest respect, that's some training performance, that. Getting Brazil to finish third is some training performance.
No, he's actually a nice horse, and he's quite flashy, actually, and likes the drinks, so he's probably like his namesake.
Yeah. Is he quirky? Is he difficult?
No, he's quite straightforward, but like I say, he likes drinking, and he's quite flashy looking, and he seems to rise to the occasion.
Who was responsible for the naming? Obviously, he's by Blue Brazil. So, look, I mean, Blue Brazil was the sire of Constitution Hills, so not too shabby. But who was responsible for calling the horse Alan Brazil?
The previous people that had him, he got sent here, and but how could you turn down a name like that?
Impossible. How's your stable looking, Nick? How many horses you got?
We got about 20, but we got a few more. We got one called Ali McCoist and one called Jeff Stelling. So there's a few more.
Yeah, well, by coincidence, there's an Ali McCoist and a Jeff Stelling on the beach at Scarborough. They're both donkeys, of course. So you know. Hey, but
Ali McCoist is a bit quirky.
For sure.
Yeah. But look, seriously, I mentioned the breeding. What are your sort of hopes of this horse then? Because, you know, 100 to 1 on debut under rules, not beaten that far by two well-fancied runners as well.
No, we're quite excited about him, actually, because I think he was only his second run on a racecourse yesterday, and the other runners had a lot of more experience. And I think the horse that ended up winning had obviously had a run before, and it was our first run of the season. It was good form, you know, the Henderson horse had good form, and the horses behind him had won. So we'll try and go and win one. We might go to Haydock beginning of December, but he's going to be a stay and chaser in time, and he's actually, jokes apart, he's quite a nice horse.
Nick, what about your stable? Are the majority of them jumps and hurdles, or have you got some flat rate horses as well? Yeah,
we're dual licensed, but the majority jumps, yeah.
Mm. So, Alan Brazil's owners then, is it a syndicate, Nick?
Yeah, he's running in the racing club at the moment.
Oh, right.
And, I think he's drawn quite a lot of attention because of you guys, really. But it's nice that everyone's actually seeing the actual horses. He's not a joke. He's actually
Where are you based, Nick? Where's the stables?
Lambourne, so
beautiful.
in the centre of the country, not far from Newbury.
What a spot.
So what next for him?
We'll try and win a maiden hurdle somewhere. We'll keep him at staying trips and keep him over hurdles this year, and then he'll be chasing next year. But he's going to be a staying chaser, and he's only 5. He's only had 2 runs, and he actually will. I'm sure he'll improve for yesterday as well.
Well, it would be brilliant, wouldn't it, to get Alan Brazil along to watch Alan Brazil?
Oh yeah, the ultimate, Nick, would be Alan Brazil watching Alan Brazil at Cheltenham. That would. What's the chances of that? You can't promise us that, can you?
He stays all day. If he keeps improving, who knows? But that would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he stays all day. That's a bit like Brazil at the bar. Stays all day. Hey, Nick, look, well done. I mean, fantastic. Opening run, so brilliant. Third at 100 to 1, not too shabby
absolutely.
at all. And obviously, we will be watching him with extreme interest in the future. Thanks for joining us.
Best of luck, Nick. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Brilliant. How about that?
I tell you what, in all seriousness,
it's a decent run.
That's got to get done as a decent run.
Yeah. I mean, people say, "Oh, great each way bet." Well, it's not, because there are only 6 horses in the race, and I'm going to pay on the first 2. But nevertheless, terrific effort. No overweight.
That surprised me.
Yeah,
the 11 stone very much surprised me. What was the line Steve was saying? It was a 3-year-old. He said the last time Brazil was 11 stone was when he was a 3-year-old.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
That was excellent for Steve.
That was brilliant. Trainer of Alan Brazil there, Nick Schofield. Craig in Birmingham says, it pains me to say as a Wolves supporter for 35 years, I think Rob Edwards is mad for jumping ship. Simon Jordan was right when he said the Wolves' job is not a great job. I paraphrase that. Rob will fall foul of the total ineptitude of our owners. The problem runs far deeper than the head coach.
I'm leaning towards agreeing with that, actually, at this moment in time. You look at the players they've lost. I mean, we keep mentioning it. Players that they've lost and haven't been replaced.
Oh, yeah, no question. Roy has texted and he says, Ali, Jeff, if I left my job to go somewhere else, then in 3 months' time I might get sacked, but I walk away with thrilling and pus in my bank account, I'm on my way. Get that completely, Roy. Get that completely. 6:58, almost 6:59. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to Arsenal and whether they're prepared this time to handle the pressure from Manchester City. That's next.
Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. Just hearing these names makes you think money and the hundreds of millions of dollars, pounds or Saudi riyals in boxing. But that's at the top. At the bottom, it isn't quite the same. Even for those on the rise, there's not an awful lot of cash in the boxing world. And if you're just starting out, well, it can be a very costly exercise indeed. But don't take my word for it. Here's the former European champion, talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver.
You're turning professional and you're boxing, let's say, York Hall on a non-televised fight. You have to sell tickets to earn any money, but you have to cover the wages of your opponent as well. So if you don't have the ability to be able to sell enough tickets, you effectively have to pay to fight.
A far cry then from Jake Paul facing Mike Tyson in 2024, when the purse was reported to be around £48 million. But the vast amounts of cash lining the top dog's pockets isn't the norm in a typical fight.
Let's say you're lucky and you get between 5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, you know, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight. Something else you'll have heard of is the terms prize fighter or journeyman. A prize fighter is, as it sounds, someone who picks up fights where they can and gets a nice big check if they win. Journeymen are the fighters who take on up-and-comers, effectively used for experience in the ring. Even if they're going up against a real prospect, a young Anthony Joshua, for example, these guys will be lucky to earn more than 10 grand. So the average boxer isn't as rich as you'd think.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. Interesting from George in Wrexham. He says, what about introducing manager transfer windows? It would give you protection for both managers and clubs. George is a Stoke fan. And I get that.
Not a bad idea. Are you having it?
Not a bad idea, but what if you've got a manager who has lost his first 6, 7, 8 games and you cannot get rid?
It goes with it. That's just the way it goes.
Well, it's harsh on supporters.
Well,
and can you imagine how...
Well, you can't have it both ways.
No, I know, but can you imagine how toxic it would get?
Yeah, but you can't have them walking out and then moaning and staying and moaning.
Look, I'm not a fan of transfer windows for players, so it's an interesting idea.
Yeah,
but I'm not having it. I'm not having it. But thanks, George. Right, what a weekend it was for Manchester City as they dispatched Liverpool, and league leaders Arsenal slipped up a little too.
Oh, there we go. My word, does he deserve this? Jeremy Doku has just made it Manchester City 3, Liverpool 0, head and shoulders the best player on the pitch at the Etihad. What a way for Pep Guardiola to bring up 1,000 games as a manager. His side have sent out a real statement to the league leaders Arsenal.
A long week to defeat in Aston Villa. We make incredible 4 games, all 4. Everyone was involved. Every player really good.
We don't really know if this is the real deal with this City team, do we? I mean, what we've had is a changing of the guard, Man City.
Well, City just look to have a real spring in their step. It's like a few of them got points to prove. Haaland's all-round performance is ridiculously good.
I think how Arsenal respond to that is going to be interesting. If it's the same old Arteta Arsenal, then they'll keep dropping points and they'll crumble and they won't win the league.
Them lockdown styles better be trembling, mate. We're coming for them. Look, we've got to play them at the Etihad. We're having them.
Jeremy Doku absolutely out of
Brilliant
this world for
Brilliant.
Manchester City.
What a performance.
They're 4 points adrift of Arsenal now. Arsenal, of course, having been held to that 2-2 draw at Sunderland at the weekend. Right, to tell us if Arsenal fans are worried at all, broadcaster and Arsenal fan Joe Bayer has joined us here in the studio. Morning, Joe.
Good morning, Joel. How are you, mate?
Morning to you both. I came in here with a statement.
Did you?
To let you know that we are not afraid.
No, but did you enjoy that Man City performance?
No, I didn't. It was frightening. But at the same time, I had to find ways to consolidate myself and think about the fact that it's a long season. It's November. I know what the opposition fans want to hear, but we've been here before. Yeah. We know this is what City do. But this time, we've got the experience. That's the difference.
I looked at the game, right, and there was a couple of things. Jeff and I were speaking. Liverpool didn't look at it. Clearly, they didn't look at it. But I watched City on the Wednesday, Joe, against Dortmund. Yeah. I thought, begin and end.
Getting better.
Yeah, but that performance at the weekend. But the flip side of the coin, everybody's looking at Arsenal saying lost 2 goals at Sunderland. This is the same Sunderland that have started the season exceptionally well.
Yes.
Won at Stamford Bridge. Mm-hmm. That isn't a bad result for Arsenal by
not at all. Not at all. Not at all. To go out there, they haven't lost at home so far this season. So to go out there and play against a team who's inspired by Granit Xhaka, and you always know it was going to be emotional. Their fans are exceptional.
Incredible.
And honestly, I left that game, and I've had the chance, obviously, to get insight from Rio, and he would say that when he's playing those games back in the day and you got Roy Keane there, sometimes they'll leave a game and they'll go, that's a good point gained. Yeah. Instead of feeling like you lost the game. Right now, this season, you could easily go up to the stadium and lose.
Easy.
You know?
But it was the circumstances, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was the fact you turned. I thought Arsenal's second half played really well.
Yeah.
I thought Zubimendi was fantastic
yes.
on the day. But it's the circumstance. You're 2-1 up with a few minutes to go. And then Mikel Arteta made a change and he's brought an extra defender onto the field in Mascara, which can look great when it works, but when it doesn't work, leaves people pointing the finger.
Yeah, you can't really blame him because, at that time, we thought we were going to win the game, so... I think it's the right thing to do. You pull it off. And
but it said to Sunderland, didn't it? It said every Sunderland player out there, okay, Arsenal, we're just intent on holding what we've got right now.
Yeah.
And you could see it gave them motivation.
Yeah, but you can't blame him. At the same time, again, Mikel's probably thinking the same thing. It's the beginning of November. You've gone to one of the hardest grounds in the league in the Premier League season so far. Yeah. All you got to do is go there, collect your point, go home and be happy. And also, who knew that Man City were going to absolutely annihilate Liverpool the next day? We thought it could be a draw, could go either way. Take your point, shut up shop. Fight again another day.
Joe, tell me, looking at Arsenal right now, is this the strongest squad that they've ever had?
I think it's the strongest squad since the Invincibles. And the reason why I say that is because we cannot take away from the likes of Ashley Cole, who was absolutely world class. You can't take away from Lauren, Gilberto Silva, Patrick Vieira, Thierry Henry. You can go on, Dennis Bergkamp.
I didn't mean team.
Yeah.
I mean the 20 players, the 22 players. Because I look at Arsenal right now, and dear me, you think White's going to struggle to get back in for Timber. Left back, whether it's, they've got Calafield, they've got 4 or 5 options everywhere. Yeah. I look at the squad and I look middle of the park, they've got options. You mentioned Zubimendi, Mourinho, Rice, Odegaard when he's fit. I think there's 19, 20, 21 players there.
There's top players, but I think the game's changed a little bit where you need to bolster your squad like that because of the amount of games. I can't get away from the Invincibles when I look at them. Yeah, but I think just because where football is at the moment and you got all these games, you kind of have no choice. And to answer your question in short, yes, because I think but that's the same with a lot of teams. If you look at it, the same with City, Liverpool, I look at them and I think the depth is really strong. And I just think it's because of how football is today.
I like the fact that afterwards at the stadium, no complaints from Mikel Arteta, which was great. By the way, he must have been knackered. He covers more ground in that technical area than some of the players do. Yeah, just amazing. Look, a big few weeks ahead after the international break, aren't they? We talk a 4-point gap at the moment. Yeah. Spurs at home, and Bayern Munich in the Champions League at home, and then Chelsea away. Could this be a pivotal period in the season?
Yes, because I think we're going to win all games, if I'm honest with you. Look, I'm looking at those league games. I think Tottenham's always going to be a difficult game. There's always emotions. It doesn't matter what form you're in, but we are a better team. If you take away Man City's performance against Liverpool, everybody you're speaking to says Arsenal are just a better equipped team. And it doesn't guarantee you the 3 points, but we're stronger than the opposition. Bayern Munich's going to be a tough one, I'll be really honest with you, the way they're playing and the fact that Kane is just in the form of his life, and Luis Diaz as well. But I will not be surprised if I'm sitting here in this chair and we've got maximum points from all 3 games.
What's the difference this year then? What's the difference this year to previous years?
I think it's the growth and mentality. Some people listening, talkSPORT fans might go, what mentality? You still haven't won. But the hurt that we've experienced in the last 3 seasons has given us a resilience now where we've been here before. You know, some people might say, well, so have they, the other teams, but we've been here before, you know, and the way I see it, it's just another day in the office. And I really believe, stop smiling. I know you're not.
No.
Is it? I really believe that now with the squad that we have, look, Odegaard hasn't been here. It's fine. Yeah. We've got Eze.
Yeah.
You know, Saka, he's not even been in the best form of his, this season. It's fine. We've got Trossard in form. We've got Martinelli on form. It's fine. We've got players to cover across the board. Zubimendi, have we missed Partey? No, we haven't. So I think that's the difference as well.
Yeah, Odegaard, Gyökeres, Martinelli, Madueke, Havertz, all to come back, you know.
Exactly.
So it's going to be fantastic. Well, we hope it's going to be fantastic. Joel, thanks again.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank you. We are not afraid. Cheers.
Ben, who's a Watford fan from St Neots, says, hi guys, I'm on my way to Norwich from St Neots to fit CCTV in this cold, wet weather. I listen every single morning. He said, listening to Ali is such a pleasure. By far the best presenter on the radio. Brackets after Jeff.
Why did I know there was always going to be a sting in the teeth?
Regarding Rob Edwards, he's been in 2 jobs where he was talked up massively by the owners and then sacked at the first time of trouble at Watford and Luton. All he knows is lack of loyalty. Ben, thanks very much indeed. Coming up, Jamie Carragher said that Newcastle are letting Eddie Howe down. Is he right? We'll discuss that next. Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Andy says, morning guys, how would you feel about increasing the number of points for scoring goals? If you win 1-0 or 5-0, you only get 3 points. So why not get 4 or 5 points for scoring 5 goals? Coisty?
No, just let's leave that one.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. Tommy's texted me. He says, Jeff, I know you hate Christmas. Tommy, I don't. I absolutely love Christmas. I just hate Christmas ads in November and, of course, gravy on the day. So, but anyway, I know you hate Christmas. You'll hate this even more. My pal Turner sent a picture to the group yesterday. He's put his Christmas tree up already.
That's
a donut.
Unacceptable.
He's moved up north to marry a girl and he's lonely. But no excuse. Turner. There is no excuse, Turner, for putting your Christmas tree up.
On the 11th of November.
Yeah, well, he did it yesterday, so the 10th of November.
That's unacceptable.
And by the way, if it's real, that means it'll be dead as a doornail by the time Christmas comes.
Bet it's not real.
Turner, if you're listening, let us know. Is it a real tree? It doesn't get you off the hook, mate. You're still in big trouble, but you're in more trouble if it's a real tree. Right, it's time now for this.
Get in the ring to win on talkSPORT.
Now, thanks to talkSPORT, your plans for this coming weekend could be sorted because this iconic clash is happening once again.
Certainly is.
Eubank Jr versus Benn on talkSPORT. Chris Eubank Sr has turned up here.
Listen to the crowd.
Wow!
Now it's fighting for real. Who's going to get the first telling blow in?
Good right hand from Conor Benn as well. Oh, Eubank's gone. Eubank's in trouble there. The legs done the dance.
What a big uppercut from Eubank. Maybe his best punch of the fight so far.
One thing Conor Benn has, he's got a good chin and he's got heart, and he's proven it here tonight.
Eubank can make good body shots. Right hand, left hand.
Both guys here going for it. So, big left hand.
It's towards him. Benn's in trouble. And what a fight we've had there.
Chris Eubank Jr.
I underestimated him. I didn't train for a fight like that.
I was always going to be here for my son. It's a show. Suspense is part of the game.
Yeah, we're giving you the chance to win 2 tickets to the rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn live at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this coming Saturday.
And that's not all, Jeff. You're going to get a night in the 5-star London hotel, plus £5,000 spending money to make it an unforgettable weekend. And to whet your appetite here in talkSPORT, Jim White and Simon Jordan will be joined today by both legendary fathers, Chris Eubank Sr. and, of course, Nigel Benn.
If you've got one, get your mate ready. Here's how to enter.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word BOX to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission, or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 3338. All entries must be received by the 13th of November at 1 p.m. and you need to answer our call to win. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
Well, the music means it's time to talk Newcastle United. Just before we do, Mark has texted in. Here we go again. Jeff, me and the family are going to put the tree up together this week, sharing drinks of gravy. Thanks, Mark. No, you're not. And Alex says, do you put ketchup on your Christmas dinner, Jeff? Alex, bread sauce, cranberry. I'm a sophisticated man. So no gravy, bread sauce, cranberry. Okay.
I don't mind the cranberry.
Yeah.
Yeah, turkey.
Yeah, no, but you don't want cranberry cranberry floating in gravy, do you?
I don't mind that, actually, be mixed in.
Anyway, look, I am a man of sophisticated tastes. I'm sure Sam is as well.
Why are you shaking?
Hey, Sam.
Jeff, I think you're wrong in not having gravy on your roast dinner, on your Christmas
gravy,
dinner.
Man.
Sorry.
Gravy's
belter.
Onion gravy. Just come on, Sam. You're right. It's just the thing to do, isn't it?
On it, and then a side jug just in case you need top up.
You two are a pair of rough diamonds. Well, I'm not sure what the diamond part of it, but anyway. So, Sam, look, we played that Newcastle United theme tune. What are we talking about?
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about them after they blew a 1-0 lead and ended up losing 3-1 at the weekend against Brentford. They sit 14th and 2 points above the drop zone now. So, yeah, conversations have arisen. And Jamie Carragher said on Sunday that Eddie Howe has taken the team as far as he can. and he should be thinking about the England job whenever that next comes in. But also the fans are getting a bit frustrated. They're asking questions. Jamie, the Newcastle fan, said something similar on talkSPORT's Final Word phone-in.
This whole Newcastle situation, it's like, I think Eddie Howe's took the team to that level. I think he's found his level. He's struggling massively at the minute, I think, in every aspect of the game. It's horrible to say that because I love Eddie Howe, but look at the teams what's had these ownerships. He's took the team to that level, and I think he's found his place.
So, question is, thoughts on the situation? Do they obviously need to do something in the transfer window in January? Is Eddie Howe under pressure?
No.
Just
he's definitely.
He's not from the board at the moment, but the fans are starting to ask those type of questions.
Yeah, one or two of the fans are. I would say, I think, Sam, that the vast majority of Newcastle fans are very appreciative of the job that he's doing, has done, and is doing, and will be quite content to let him hold the reins for the foreseeable future. Probably does need strengthening. He needs to get one or two fit as well. This is,
yeah.
I still think they've got a stronger squad than they had last year. I know Isaac's away, but I think they've brought in players that have strengthened. I think they need to because of the amount of games. Like again, they're playing this season. I think the last time they qualified for the Champions League, I think the lack of numbers in the squad caught up with them, and they had to get more numbers in for this season. I think they'll be fine. I mean, they are at this moment in time they're underachieving. That I accept. Some poor performances and some poor results. It wasn't at the weekend, but one of the games, I can't remember which one it was, where Eddie more or less said his team were they didn't turn up effectively, which isn't good. But I think they'll be fine.
Newcastle fans have got niggles with Eddie. Yeah. There's one here from Jack who said, tactics from Eddie have been poor, substitutions that don't work. But they remember where they were when he took over. They remember what they've achieved, Champions League football, and not just on one occasion either.
Winning a trophy.
Yeah, winning a trophy as well. I mean, some Newcastle fans have gone through a lifetime without seeing their side win a trophy. So, I think that the majority of Newcastle fans, even though they might have some complaints, they might have some moans and groans, and some of them might be justifiable as well. I'd be surprised if there are many of them who want, if any of them, who want Eddie Howe out.
No, I'm with you. I think I would suggest that's nonsense. I really, really do. I think Eddie has more than steadied the ship. He's brought the club forward in his time there by some distance, and I think they've probably at this moment in time, I don't think they've stabilised. They've probably stepped back a little bit, but sometimes you need to take a step back to go too forward. And I think that's where they are at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. 4th year in charge. It was his anniversary at the weekend. And like you said, when you look what he's achieved, he's taken them from being bottom of the table, struggling, 2 Champions League qualifications, 2 Carabao Cup finals, and obviously achieved that legendary status of winning the first major trophy in 7 years. Unbelievable. And also good to remember as well, this stage last year, or maybe a bit later on in December, they lost away at Brentford after a really poor run and then had a kickstart few games to then get them back up to where they needed to be. But I think sometimes, like as a fan, do you think they can lose sight of, like you say, where they were and they're almost being a little bit spoilt by results and his success? Is that where football has gone now? We talk football fans saying, "Oh, this lot needs to go out." Do we need to just everyone calm down? We're 11 games in. They've gone on a poor run of a few games.
Yeah,
let it breathe.
You're absolutely right, but generally speaking, football fans won't do that. They look ahead, the majority, and rather than look back. But I do think, like Jeff said, I couldn't agree with you more. I think all the Newcastle fans look at where they were 4 years ago and what he's achieved, and as you just mentioned there, Sam, that more than cuts him plenty of slack for me.
Yeah, and the club will want to invest in January. But of course they've been hamstrung.
Of course they have.
By regulations, which means that although they're a very wealthy club, they haven't been able to spend what they want to, and that hampers Eddie as well. And some of the transfers, by the way, Nick Waldemar came in and made an immediate impact. I think the intensity of Premier League football and Champions League football is fanning him out just a little bit at the moment. Anthony Elanga, same. Hasn't quite kicked in just yet. But a couple of wins and everything's going to seem absolutely rosy in the garden.
Next few games for Newcastle. Man City at home is the first one back after the international break. Big question there for the team. And a challenge as well. Marseille away, then Everton away, then Tottenham at home.
See, I think I think a City game's a great game for them.
Yeah.
I really do. That's the kind of game.
Be right up first.
Oh, could you
At
imagine
home
that,
as well,
that place
St.
will be
James's
rocking.
Right
rocking.
Guy in Worcester says, bread sauce is like putting porridge on your Christmas dinner, Guy. It really isn't. Andy says, Jeff, if you went on I'm a Celebrity, your Bush Tucker trial would be a cup of gravy. I'd rather eat the testicles. Seriously.
You would.
Yeah.
Not your own, hopefully.
Yeah. But
Or someone else's.
Look, Ash, the Newcastle fan, okay? Ash, the Newcastle fan, is both sophisticated and a visionary. Ash says, I've said it before, I'll say it again, Jeff Stelling is a sensible man. No gravy is the way forward, and Christmas decorations up in November is ludicrous. Anyone who puts them up now should hang their heads in shame. Ash, I applaud you, mate. I applaud you. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, guys.
Coming up, we find out why my name was mentioned in the House of Commons. And no, it was nothing to do with gravy.
When was the last time you saw someone score with a knuckleball free kick? We're going to take a look at why we're not seeing them anymore and explain a bit about how they work. The knuckleball peaked in the 2010s after that Ronaldo strike against Portsmouth in 2008 inspired academy players everywhere. Here's a young Mason Mount.
I tried to base my free kick on Ronaldo, hit the ball by the valve and it moves. So what do you do? Top corner.
Now, no ball is perfectly aerodynamic, so as it travels it creates ever-changing pockets of turbulent air, causing that unpredictable movement. Football's most prolific free-kick taker, Juninho Pernambucano, perfected the technique but didn't invent it. He was inspired by players from the 90s and even the 50s. So how do you do it? You have to hit the ball head-on with as short a contact time as possible so the ball doesn't spin. Hitting by the valve helps with that short contact time as it's the hardest part of the football. So why don't we see knuckleballs much anymore? It's because players are being told not to shoot from dead ball situations because the XG is so low. In fact, as Opta shows here, since the 08-09 season, there's been a 10% reduction in players shooting from free kicks in the Premier League. And in 23-24, a record low of 11 free kicks found the back of the net. And the knuckleball, though spectacular, is imprecise, which is why it's becoming a thing of the past.
Morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and our friends at Arnold Clark. Get £750 off any used electric car or home charger. Dan says, Christmas decorations, roasts, gravy, all overrated. I am the original Scrooge. Well said, Dan. I love Christmas. I just want to emphasise that, by the way. Nige from Wolverhampton says, getting the Christmas tree up tonight, Jeff. The Easter eggs will look great sat under it. Brilliant. And Matt Waller, the butcher from Ledbury, says, love the show as always, guys. Gets me through the morning. I've said it before. I'm happy to put my money where my mouth is. I will send you a bag of our gravy and some Waller's black pudding to have on one plate. And a pair of testicles to have on the other.
Oh, I'll take the black pudding.
I love black pudding.
I love black pudding.
That's a surprise. I said I like something.
Do you like fruit pudding?
What is fruit pudding?
Oh, yeah. Do you know fruit pudding down here?
No.
Fruit.
Well, you mean like apple pie or something like that?
No, fruit pudding's like currants in it. You can have it with a fry up. We have it with a fry up in Scotland.
A fry up with currants?
Yeah, it's a fruit pudding. It's lovely.
You lot up there, you've got some weird taste.
You must have it in the tatty scone. The tatty scones are actually, it's a must. You've seen a tatty scone.
I've seen tatty scone.
Tatty scone, put your poached egg on top of it, bang knife through it, fruit pudding, black pudding, a little bit of haggis.
But a fruit pudding, so a fry up with currants. You lot think I'm strange for not liking gravy. What about him? Currants with your fry up? Goodness gracious. This weekend, the National League games will all kick off at 3:03 as part of the 3 Up campaign. The aim, of course, is to get 3 teams to be promoted from the National League to League 2 every season. The issue was even raised in Parliament this month by the Hartlepool MP, Jonathan Brash. He mentioned me in his speech. Very kind.
Football is a game based on fairness, yet brilliant clubs that unite communities every week like Hartlepool are being held back by a fundamental unfairness. The 3 Up campaign, backed by 72 National League clubs, including Hartlepool United, and championed by Hartlepool legend Jeff Stelling, seeks to grant a 3rd promotion place from the National League to League 2. This simple change will be transformational for these historic clubs, many of which are over a century old. Now, while I accept Arsenal may never directly benefit from such a change, does the Prime Minister agree that this campaign to put football first would help the new football regulator protect club heritage, ensure stability and put fairness and fans back at the heart of our game?
Jonathan Brash speaking in the Commons. He's a massive Hartlepool United fan as well as the MP for Hartlepool. Joining us for more on this now is the Chief Executive of the National League, Phil Alexander. Morning, Phil.
Very good morning, Phil.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ellie.
So look, Phil, at present, from the National League, one goes up automatically, one goes up via a playoff. It's meant to be a pyramid, but I don't see one up and one via a playoff in any other division, do you?
No, absolutely. And that's the purpose of the campaign. I mean, we have a football pyramid that is the envy of every country in the world, not just in terms of quantity of teams, but the quality of teams. However, there is a logjam between the National League and League Two, and clearly that's stifling the ambition of all those teams below the EFL in order so they can move up the pyramid and provide success for their clubs and their communities.
Phil, I was going to say to you, looking at it, and obviously Jeff has certainly drawn my attention to, and a lot of people, the actual National League itself, it looks to me, you know, regardless of promotion and relegation, it looks to me as if it's in a really healthy state. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. There's some really strong teams in there. They're fully professional in the step one of the National League in terms of the players and the operations that they run at the clubs. There has been only two up since 2020, since 2003. So it's 23 years ago that actually moved, believe it or not. And it's right that it should be equality across the whole pyramid.
Yeah, and again, despite the fact that it's so darn difficult to get out of the National League at the moment, you look at the record of those who've been in the National League. Look at Wrexham and Stockport, Lincoln City. I mean, Luton, for goodness sake, they were in the National League, then they were in the Premier League a few seasons later. Grimsby put Manchester United out of the League Cup this season. So there is no questioning the strength of sides who go up. Why is there so much opposition? Is it just the fear, Phil, that an extra side being relegated? Is that what it's all about?
Well, I would say so. It's not our gift. It's the EFL's decision, and what we're trying to do is to put this on to all the clubs in the EFL so they can vote on it. The information we have is that over 80% of fans in the EFL are for this, so the fans want to see it. Obviously, there's a higher percentage of National League fans that want to see it as well. And when I speak privately to those in the EFL, they also recognise that it should be changed. And we think it should be changed this season in time for next season.
Phil, just looking at it, surely in terms of fairness, it should be changed.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It's been this way for a long time, as you know. I remember, I'm old enough to remember the days when you used to have to apply for re-election.
Yeah.
And then it went to one up automatically. I've done a bit of homework on that. 1986, when Neil Warnock went up, was the first manager to get promoted automatically. And then, as I said, in 2003, it went to two. And it's about time now. We feel it's the right time for it to go to three and have equality up and down the pyramid.
Yeah, I mean, the lunacy of it's illustrated, you know, Notts County 2023. I mean, they've got 107 points, 23 points clear of the third place side, yet they weren't automatically promoted. York City last season, 96 points, and they didn't go up. They missed out in the playoffs as well. And by the way, I mean, Phil, you know, York play Rochdale tonight, okay? It's fifth against third. I'm guessing there'll be 8,000 there, something like that. Rochdale take a good following away from home. Look at the League Two crowds at the weekend. Salford, 2,700. Barrow, 3,100. Barnet, 3,600. Harrogate, 4,000. Look at the League One crowds. Wickham, 5,000. Exeter, 6,600. Northampton, 6,800. There is a demand to watch these teams, and those fans, those massive number of fans, just shouldn't be ignored any longer.
No, absolutely spot on, Jeff. I commend you for your homework. There's some great teams in the National League, and they should have the same opportunity to get promotion as every other team up and down the country. So that's what the campaign's all about, and we're hoping to get that in front of the EFL clubs at some point, but it's down to the EFL to do that. As you rightly pointed out, we've got some great support in Parliament. Over 60 MPs are supportive of the Free Up campaign. Everything's going in its way, and as you say, Ali, it's fair. It's absolutely fair.
So, just remind people, this weekend, all the National League games will kick off at 3:03 as part of the 3 Up, 3 Down campaign. Come on, Phil, sort them out, mate. We're relying on you.
Yeah, and the Trident leagues below them. So there's over 200 games kicking off at 303 in support of the campaign this weekend.
Brilliant. Phil, thanks very much for joining us, mate. Best of luck with it.
Pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Cheers, Phil.
Makes sense.
Of course it makes sense. You know, and people will say that as far as the league clubs are concerned, it's like turkeys voting for Christmas. It's not. It just isn't. Gives you a better chance if you are relegated of going back. Wrexham spent 15 years in the National League, you know, having been relegated. They just could not claim that one automatic place or the one playoff place. So, you know, and look where they are now. Reese from Bingley, brilliant text. I put my artificial Christmas tree up the first weekend in November every year. This always results in an argument with the missus every year, but I win. We put Christmas tree incense sticks into the tree for the authentic smell. Anyway, we live in a world where it's socially acceptable to identify as a non-binary dolphin, but it's not socially acceptable to put your Christmas tree up in your own house a few weeks early. Reese, thank you. Point is brilliantly made. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
We'll be taking calls on a certain boss celebrating his 1-year anniversary in charge today. A year ago, Ruben Amorim took over at Old Trafford. So United fans, let's hear from you. How would you rate his first 12 months in the dugout? Jim Ratcliffe says he'll still be there in another 2 years' time. Have you come around to that idea now? 03717223344 is the number to ring. Give us a call. And that was our look ahead. All thanks to the brilliant Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Bricks on bricks on bricks. Over 40 million available to order with delivery to site. That's one less thing to worry about.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Ally McCoist is with us. Ali's caused a bit of a scare with his fruit pudding. Andrew says, come on, Ali, currants and bacon? What next? Custard on your ribeye?
That's a bit harsh. I'll tell you right now, Graham's come flying in here in my defence. Graham, good on you, mate. Fruit pudding is top quality. It's an absolute top quality breakfast. Not had it since I moved out of my mum's house. I know what I'm having this weekend. You enjoy it, Graham.
But Graham, out with his dog Alfie, he's got another. I mean,
that's the best dog on the planet, Alfie.
He is. I tell you what, there are some strange people out there, aren't there? Because he said, "Morning, boys, can you call out my brother Mark and his family, his wife Pam, daughter Chloe, and son Rory, who cover their Christmas meal, including Brussels sprouts, in ketchup."
That's a sackable.
I tell you,
that's a sackable offence.
Very strange people out there.
That is a sackable offence.
Yeah. People think I'm odd, not having gravy, but hey. A lot of support for the National League's 3 up, 3 down campaign. Mark, 100% agree with the National League 3 up campaign. While they're at it, they should also change the 4 promoted from League 2 and the 4 relegated from League 1. Says Mark was a Port Vale fan who might have a vested interest there because they are struggling a little bit at the moment, to say the least. Guy in Worcester said, do you really believe this government will be successful in the hunt for the 3 up from the National League? It was raised in Parliament. It's not really a government matter as such. It's down really to the EFL. They'll be the ones ultimately who make that decision. Nathan says, I don't want gravy on my Christmas dinner. I don't understand why people go through all the effort of cooking it for 8 hours, seasoning, marinating, stuffing it all, to then go and pour over a £3 tub of gravy granules. Nathan!
Make your own. See, that's, Nathan, you're completely and utterly missing the point.
No, you are completely right, Nathan.
Make your own gravy, Nathan.
Yeah, but if you make your own gravy, that makes Nathan's point even more relevant.
No. Because
you've made the effort of cooking the turkey,
but the gravy,
seasoning it, marinating it, and stuffing it.
And the gravy adds to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away from it, it adds to it.
Yeah, but you put fruit on yours as well, so, you're not really qualified to talk about this, Coisty, not anymore. What a confession that was. Right, it's time now for the return of this.
Welcome aboard this jet-stelling flight to the World Cup.
It has gone through, so it's organised. We can travel by plane.
Connections USA, Mexico and Canada.
Left my blinking headphones on the plane again.
No, you didn't.
I can guarantee you my last dollar that he will be on that plane.
If he didn't liven himself up in the beginning of the season, he wasn't getting on that plane.
I'm sitting on the plane, like the doors are shut, and then they say, oh no, Darren, you can get off the plane now.
Was it Elon Musk or something, whatever his name is? He's already got a flying car.
I mean, when you fly, you hold more water. I never liked flying.
Please fasten your seatbelt. Ally McCoist. No snacks whilst we're taking off.
What? Oh, man alive. What's going on here?
Mr. Brazil, please put your phone on aeroplane mode.
Yeah, I'm sick of all this mamby-pamby rubbish.
And Mr. Parler, we do not have any Cobra bombs on board.
That's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
So look, it's the return of our tournament season feature, Jet Stelling. I take a look at the players who'll be considering themselves to be in contention on Thomas Tuchel's plane to the World Cup. But this is more specific than that, really, because we're going to talk about England's centre-back issue, and they do have an issue. Mark Gahey injured at the moment. Now, look, we hope that's not a long-term injury.
Clearly.
But if it is, England have got a real problem at centre-back, haven't they? Because they've got...
Who plays with Stones? Is that what you're saying?
Well, John Stones is desperately injury-prone.
If the two of them are injured, you've got a big problem.
Well, exactly. So I think Ezri Konsa has suddenly gone to number one, in the absence of Gay, and there's Dan Burn. But
Maguire?
Who else? Well, he doesn't seem to fancy Maguire at all, does he? And, I think it was in May. In fact, I know it was in May. Tuchel said that Trevor Chalobah was ahead of Maguire. So he doesn't seem to fancy him at all. Quansa's in the squad, but he's been in the squad before and not being given an opportunity, so I'm not too sure how much he fancies him. I think it's a real issue for England.
I think it's a massive issue because I think the defence is clearly his biggest problem.
Yeah.
I think it has been. I think it will continue to be. I think in forward areas, They're blessed with incredible talent, middle to front. But I just think defensively is the problem, and it has been for a number of years.
And it might be fine when you're playing qualifiers.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you come against the
top
big
level,
boys,
it's top level.
the big boys,
it's a different game. I mean, the record in qualifying is magnificent, and to a degree, so it should be. But it's terrific.
And of course, Jared Branthwaite's out injured. Levi Colwell's out for the entire season, so that rules him out as well.
There's 4 injuries that you've got at centre back. That's a big problem.
Shall I tell you one thing they should look at? And they probably missed the boat now. I mean, I know a couple have pulled out of this squad, and it's late in the day. But Fikayo Tomori, who plays for Milan,
he seems to be out of sight, out of mind, doesn't he?
Out of sight. That's exactly what it is. He's 27. He should be at the peak of his powers now. Look, a couple of seasons ago, he was in the Serie A team of the year. We know what Italian defenders are like, so that takes some doing. He's a regular for Milan. He hasn't started for England since October 2023 when they played him at left back. He's played nearly 140 games for Milan. And yet he seems to be, exactly as you say, out of sight, out of mind. Now, I don't see enough of him.
No.
To know, how he's played. But he's Tuchel in that side all the time.
Yeah, Thomas Tuchel will, Jeff.
Well, he should.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt he will. He'll be meticulous in his work in terms of looking at players, particularly if that is a serious, and it is becoming a seriously, a problematic area for them. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. And I'm with you. I'm with you. I just think he's outside. I mean, getting that Serie A Team of the Year, 27, right at the peak of his powers. I mean, I think you're right. He clearly doesn't fancy Maguire. That goes without saying. Constance can fly into the equation. Stones. I think Stones and one other. I think it's Stones and Gay if they're fit. I mean, I don't know where you stand on that, but I think it's Stones and Gay. You're not sure?
Nah, I'm not sure. John Stones is a lovely footballer, but I think that fragility just worries me a bit. And of course, he's not a regular starter for Man City now. Gay, first name in the defence anyway. That is for sure. But if he were to be injured, that's our concern. We have to have some quality standby. I think when you look through the Premier League, look at their central defenders. There are precious few English central defenders there. That's for sure. That's a big problem. Trigger from Ledbury. Morning, lads. We'll meet you halfway, Jeff. Cranberry and bread sauce a must, but only gravy on the turkey and veg. No gravy must touch the roasties, as they must be kept crispy. Where do you stand on that?
No, I disagree. I mean, have a mixture. I like some of my roasties crispy, but equally I like some of them with gravy on them. So I'm kind of split down the middle with that one. I know where he's coming from. I like them crispy, but at the same time I don't mind them drenched in a little bit of gravy.
Carl in Gloucester says, my family weirdly cover their roast dinner in a combination of cucumber, onions and cream. I do not partake. I'll tell you what, there's some weird people out there.
Strange combination.
Yeah, never mind me not liking gravy. And suddenly I realised I'm absolutely normal. There are some real oddballs out there. Up next, we ask the question, a year on since he started at United, has Ruben Amorim proved to all the doubters that they were wrong? He is the man to bring the good times back to the club. 03717 22 3344 is the number to call to have your say.
As Lewis Hamilton, now at Ferrari, dares to dream of a record 8th F1 world title, the Tifosi will be hoping the Brits can bring glory back to Italy. To many, Ferrari and Formula One are inseparable. They're the only team in the sport today to have competed in the first World Championship in 1950, are the most successful team in history, and have built some absolutely gorgeous cars. Their first driver's title was won in 1952 by Alberto Ascari. Considered one of F1's most dominant and best-loved champions, he drove the iconic Ferrari 500 and defended his title the year after. It was Juan Manuel Fangio in his Ferrari 250 who secured the team's next driver's title in 1956. Remember, he was world champion 5 times with 4 different teams. Mike Hawthorne, Phil Hill and John Surtees also won titles for Ferrari in the 50s and 60s, and the cars back then were beautiful, and they even sounded great, didn't they? Anyway, Ferrari went 11 years without winning a title until Niki Lauda won in 1975 in the iconic 312T. Throughout much of the 80s and 90s, though, Ferrari looked like they'd never go all the way again. Le Professeur Alain Prost came pretty close in 1990, but lost out to his bitter rival and former teammate at McLaren, Ayrton Senna. It was only when John Todt recruited a swathe of staff from outside of Italy, including Michael Schumacher, that the glory days returned 21 years after their last driver's title. The turn of the century saw the prancing horse sprint to an unprecedented 5 consecutive championship doubles. And after Schumacher left, Kimi Raikkonen reclaimed the driver's title immediately. But despite employing 1,500 people, the Iceman remains the last Ferrari world champion. So, 16 constructors' titles, 7 more than McLaren, and 15 drivers' titles, 4 more than, again, McLaren. Ferrari are truly Formula One's top team. Forza Ferrari.
Good morning, very nearly 6 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday, November the 11th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. We'll talk sport again in a moment or two. Steve H from Stockport, who's a Man City fan, says, ask Jeff if he has cranberry sauce in his Christmas dinner. Yes, I do, Steve, along with bread sauce as well, but some of you are getting carried away. Kendo says, here's a weird one for you both. Have you dipped a penguin biscuit in tomato soup? Absolutely delicious. I'm afraid to ask you, Coisty.
No, it's
you.
A penguin biscuit in tomato soup.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I mean, you dunk bread in soup. You don't dunk biscuits in soup.
No. It's a definite no. Fraser said, morning, boys. I always have some beetroot on my Christmas dinner with a drop of piccalilli. Beautiful, says Fraser.
I don't mind beetroot, by the way.
Your Christmas dinner?
Well, I wouldn't put it in my Christmas dinner, right? But I don't mind it.
Yeah.
And I don't mind a bit of piccalilli either.
Yeah. On the England full centre defender situation, Jamie says Eric Dyer, also out of sight, out of mind. Chuddy says Tyrone Mings, but Tyrone Mings, unfortunately, is another one who's injured at the moment. And Sam from Stourbridge, this is interesting, actually. The lad Cresswell at Toulouse, that's Charlie Cresswell. Yeah. Watch him at the under-21 level, and he is the future. I tell you what, he played brilliantly for the under-21s, and I certainly wouldn't be averse to giving him some sort of chance. Stuart in Knott says, not sure where Jeff's coming from for criticising Ali for his fruit bun. Don't you eat gammon and pineapple? No, Stuart. No, I do not eat gammon with pineapple. No, thank you.
I would.
Oh, no.
Would you have a fried egg with it?
Yeah. I wouldn't. Yeah, I would have gammon and a fried egg, but not the pineapple. It's not the gammon I'm moaning about. It's the pineapple.
As if I was some kind of culinary nutcase. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I don't mind a bit of pineapple. Yeah. My wee mum used to give me pineapple on my gammon steak.
Yeah.
But you'd have an egg with a gammon
steak.
steak.
It's like having pineapple on a pizza, isn't it?
I don't mind the old Hawaiian.
No.
I don't mind the old Hawaiian either. No, I mean, it wouldn't be my go-to pizza.
Yeah.
I like a spicy meat pizza. But if it was a wee Hawaiian going on there, I wouldn't say no to it.
Matt says, the disregard of Ezri Konsa is alarming. The best English centre-back in the Premier League. Stones over Konsa behave. Matt, you're not listening. We said that Ezri Konsa would probably be the first choice next to Mark Gahey. We said that. We were looking for additional central defenders. Now, a year ago today, Ruben Amorim took over at Manchester United, and it's been a rocky old ride so far.
Yep.
Manchester United have appointed Ruben Amorim as their new head coach.
You look at what he's done at Sporting, he's shown that he can turn the team around quickly.
I'm excited about Amorim. Be interested to see how he sets up.
The great unknown. We've no idea how he's going to do.
I think that our goal is to win the Premier League. That is our goal.
Country road. When it all goes wrong. Manchester United breaking a lot of records. That's 15 defeats this season in the Premier League.
Things are there and we are capable, but we have to be consistent. That's it.
Manchester United lose a 5th game in December. It feels hopeless.
7 Premier League games without a win for the first time since 1992. This is Manchester United. Get used to what you're seeing on a weekly basis. They are just clearly not good enough.
We are being the worst team, maybe, in history of Manchester United. I know that you want headlines, so here you go, your headlines.
Amorim sticking to his style at all costs has made United even worse.
He's factually the worst manager that Manchester United have had.
Grimsby Town have knocked Manchester United out of the League Cup.
They are one of the worst teams I've ever seen. I wasn't Billericay, but I reckon I could do a better job than Amorim.
The system doesn't work. Until he changes that system, we ain't going to get any better.
A desperate Premier League season last season, finishing 16th. Then, of course, they lost the Europa League final to Spurs as well. But look, they're 5 unbeaten now. Looks like that maybe he's turned a corner. What do you think, Coisty? I think he has. I think he's turned a corner.
Yeah, I think there had to be an improvement for last year. Last year was a disaster, wasn't it, from start to finish? And there has been an improvement. I definitely think they've turned a corner. I still think they're miles away from where they want to be. But if you're a Manchester United fan, I think you understandably and correctly have to feel encouraged from what you've seen, particularly the last month or so. I keep saying it, particularly in forward areas and with the goalkeeper. I look at the goalkeeper and I look at the back three, he's playing, and I'm looking at them and I just think they're looking over their shoulder and they feel a lot more confident with the goalkeeper that's in the sticks, and that's a massive thing. That is a massive thing. He made a couple of great saves at the weekend.
He did. He was excellent.
He just looks at it as if he's going to make saves, Lamans, but... And I look at De Ligt and I look at Shaw.
De Ligt's having a really good season.
Oh, yeah.
Really good season.
By the way, he's...
And Luke Shaw.
Yeah. But I think... I've said it for a long time, Jeff. I don't care what anybody says. Manchester United are a far better team than with Luke Shaw in it.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the left hand, it looks like the left hand centre-back, obviously, the way he plays the game now. Definitely. But I go back to the goalkeeper and I go back to 2 of the 3 signings. Šeško, I feel for it to come off there injured at the weekend. He's just, he's just not get going yet. But the other 2, without
Brilliant.
And I keep saying it, and I'll say it again. They look as though they can handle that Manchester United jersey, and they look as though they can handle playing for Manchester United. Particularly.
And I think especially Brian and Boomer. Boomer. Let's hear from a couple of United fans. Tony's a United fan. Morning, Tony.
Good morning, Tony.
Morning, guys. Nice to hear you, Jeff. I miss you on a Saturday, actually.
Thank you. Thanks, Tony.
I'm hoping they've turned the corner, but I honestly can't see it. I mean, I used to love the team, didn't like the club, but loved the team. But now I don't like the team. The only two players that are doing it for me are Mbeumo and Cunha, and I think Amorim is like an emperor's new clothes. I can't see it happening. I hope I'm wrong, but I can't see it. The job's too big for him. The other thing is when you look at the game on the weekend, you've got two teams that played atrocious football. The defence on both teams are awful. And you've got to look at the quality of the Premiership when those two teams are up there in the top 7. That is my view. On a separate issue, I was involved in the campaign to get two teams up from the Vauxhall Conference way back in the early 2020s.
Yeah.
And that was when the chief exec was John Mulls. I don't know if you remember him. He used to be a professional referee.
Yeah.
And what a lovely guy. He's unfortunately passed away now. But we did a campaign where it was 2 up to the league, and it was really cool, where we did 2 fingers and we had ad vans going round and a campaign, and it was tongue-in-cheek, but 2 up to the Football League. And unfortunately, a great friend of talkSPORT was involved in football then, and he was very anti 2 up coming from the conference, and his name was Barry. Barry Hearn.
Oh, Barry Hearn. Yeah. Okay, yeah, take it. Tony, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks
really
for the call,
interesting.
Tony.
Thanks, Tony. Chris is a Man United fan as well. Morning, Chris.
Morning, Chris.
Morning, gentlemen. How are we?
We're in good form. Are you positive, or are you slightly in the negative side like Tony was, Chris?
Well, before we get to that, Ali, what am I hearing on this show this morning? Some people with their Christmas dinners, utter woke nonsense.
I agree. Completely agree, Chris.
In the words of Joe number 2 yesterday, this country is full of plant pots. Just get your meat, get your veg, get your potatoes, and smother it in gravy and get stuck in. Don't worry about all these different sauces. Just crack on.
Go on, Chris. Crack on about Man United now.
So I'm not the same as the previous caller. If I look back in the last year as a whole, if I start from off the pitch, I feel like as a club, we've progressed a lot off the pitch. That's from embedding of senior team, a new recruitment strategy where we're actually getting players that want to play for the badge before they turn up. We're getting the right people in the door. The work rate is good. We've got rid of bad players, bad eggs, and these players who've got previous managers sacked consistently, and down tools. I don't see anyone down tools in, even if we're not playing well. We can see the work rate there. And I think in terms of on the pitch, I am seeing a style of play. Yeah, it's really early days, and I think these things do take time, especially if you're trying to change a complete culture of a club. But I am seeing progression. I like that all the players talk highly of the club, and I like what I see in the pitch in terms of effort. I don't think we'll get top 4 this year, and I'm absolutely comfortable with that. But I just want to see this style of play and an identity by the end of the year that we can keep recruiting the right people into that team.
Chris, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Chris.
And don't forget, Chris, bread sauce and cranberry on your Christmas dinner, okay?
No chance.
No chance.
Coming up with non-league football becoming all the rage, now that there are Premier League players playing, well, it's Sunday morning football rather than non-league football. Ali's beaten his very own Sunday morning talkSPORT 11. We'll find out who makes it next. Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Adam says, do your research. Jeff Tomori not in the squad because he can't get in the Milan back three. Adam, do your research, pal. He was left out of the last game. He was on the bench, but before that he'd been playing regularly in that Milan back three. A lot of talk about food. It's amazing what gets you interested and what people do on Christmas Day. Guys, here's a man after my own heart. Don't know his name. Could be a woman, of course. Guys. Gravy is the worst thing you can do all over a roast dinner. It takes away all the flavours. Phil says, my brother-in-law has a spaghetti bolognese on Christmas Day while everybody else eats Christmas dinner. And Sean Paul in Bournemouth says, most of my family and pals in Glasgow go for a Chinese or Indian on Christmas Day. Would they be open?
Yeah.
Are they open?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
The Chinese will open. So a couple of lovely Chinese and Indians. We've got some brilliant Indian restaurants up the road as well.
Mr. Singh's.
Oh, can't he beat the old Satty boy?
Yeah, love it.
Brilliant it is.
Right, headline in the Sun this morning, they're taking Papis. They're talking about the Sunday League side, Wythenshawe Vets. You'll have read about them. They've added another ex-pro to their ranks, the former Swansea winger, Jefferson Montero. So the side between them at the moment boasts 1,867 Premier League appearances. Papi Cisse bagged 6 again over the weekend, as he did against Collegiate a few weeks ago. In fact, this show spoke recently to the Collegiate boss, who tried to recruit one of our own to make the league more competitive.
Gabby, Jamie O'Hara, do you fancy having a sign on for us?
Let's talk afterwards, mate. Let's talk figures. Let's talk figures.
It's £10 a game to play for us, so yeah.
15, please, and we have a deal.
Yeah, no, Gabby, I think you got hold of the wrong end of the stick there. You know, I think you pay £10 a game. You don't get paid £10 a game. Look, so Montero is going to join the side that's got Stephen Ireland, Emil Heskey, Mena Figueroa, Julian Lescott, Papi Cisse, Umar Nias, Neda Manua, George Boyd, Danny Drinkwater. Well, enough's enough. Come on, Ali, we need a team to take them on.
I've got a talkSPORT team, right?
Off you go.
Straight away. What do we think about it? My manager's Dean Saunders, who'd have imagine the pre-match chat would last about an hour and a half. Assistant manager, Wee Stewie. Chairman has to be Simon Jordan, right? That goes without saying. Now, I hope you don't mind. I'm sticking you in goals for my sweeper keeper, right?
Who?
You? You're in. You're in. I've thought about it. Legs have gone a wee bit, right? So I've got you in as a sweeper.
And I can't touch the bar. But apart from that...
Well, you're the only one I know that can get chipped at 5-a-side. Right back, Goldstein. 2 centre-backs, Cohen and Moose. I'm having the Moose in there. Left back, Piercy.
Yeah.
Right? I would imagine, Martin will be tough, still tough, difficult to get by, and the Moose will just eat everything that comes up his way, right? Right wing, Jim White. Centre midfield, I've got Crookie in the holding position. Left wing, Gabek Bonlahor. I'm playing a Hara in a 10. I've seen enough of him. He likes to stick on bits on his Instagram page where he's scoring the odd goal and things like that. So I'm sticking in my number 10 position. 2 strikers, not up for debate. It's breakfast, talkSPORT breakfast, finest duo act up front. McCoist in Brazil. That's not up for debate. Substitutes. There's going to be a couple of unhappy campers, by the way, just to let you know. It's a strong bench. Benty can consider himself unlucky.
Benty's on the bench.
Benty's on the bench. He'll come on for Big Al when Big Al tires after about 6 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Cass is on the bench. And then I'm just... Cundy's on the bench. And then it's just a mixture of who's who. I've got Shaban on the bench, Paul Ross, Andy Jacobs, Paul Hawksby, and DJ Ed's my sub-keeper.
Yeah. Cundy will have words with you about that.
I don't know.
Cundy on the bench.
Moose at centre before Cundy.
DJ Edwards, the sub-keeper.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to put him in. I'm going to stick him on top of your shoulders.
He's shorter than me. The two of us couldn't touch the bar with one on top of each other.
I'm sticking him on top of your shoulders and he'll still get chipped.
Brilliant. Love it. Martin in Newmarket says, rib of beef, tatties, roast carrots, parsnips, 3 boiled veg, Yorkshires, sprouts with red pickled cabbage, bacon and chestnuts, gravy and horseradish. Now that's a Christmas dinner,
yes,
says Martin.
I agree.
Sounds pretty good, all with one exception, one notable exception, of course. Right, let's get the latest odds now with Coral and John Hill.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
In that team you've named just there, we'd be odds on at 1 to 10 for the most hamstrings pulled in a football match in history, I have to say there, especially with the moves at centre-back. So, I'll tell you what, it's a strong bench, though, isn't it?
A strong bench.
Yeah.
You always judge your team how good they are by how strong the bench is.
Do you think
would
one of our weaknesses there be Moose on the turn? You know,
I think you'd be leaking goals, Jeff. I have to say, I think I fancy my chances up front. I've not laced my boots for about 12 years. So,
no, I think we'd have a problem. The opposition playing the balls up the side of Moose. That might be a struggle for us, John.
Yeah,
John. Here's one for you, mate. What about Rochdale tonight? Am I right? But maybe about 2-1, slightly better than 2-1. What are they?
I think I'd be a player there. I have to say it's a huge game, isn't it?
Yeah.
And a great work from Jeff with the free up campaign. It's just tough getting out of this league, and these are two of the teams tonight, obviously in that promotion hunt. York are in great form, scoring goals for fun. 39 goals this season, the most by any team in the league. We've only conceded 8 goals so far in the season. Absolutely tremendous at the back of Ben Rochdale. So it's the best offence, or sorry, use an American term there, best attack versus defence tonight. And something's got to give. There'll be a massive crowd there, Jeff, won't there, tonight? You mentioned possibly around 8,000. They're well supported, York, and we'll take a few.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing that's the case. I think York have had 7,000. This capacity is about 8.5. Something like that. I mean, people don't get it. In the National League Southend, their average crowd at Southend is 8,200. Carlisle gets 7,000 plus. Every week, pretty much.
Some big teams, Scunthorpe well supported. Some big teams down there. Yeah. You had a great win on Saturday, didn't you?
Yeah, one at Halifax. There's a bit of smash and grab, about it. But Adam Campbell, who's been a target for the fans over the last couple of years, really. And for good reason, because he'll tell you himself, he hasn't done it for us. But he's got 2 in 2 now, and he's beginning to look the player that we signed. And Nicky Featherstone's in charge at the moment. And we talked about loyalty earlier on the show. Well, Nicky Featherstone been so loyal to Hartlepool United over the years that I desperately hope it goes well for him. We've got a decent run of games coming at the moment as well. Alan Brazil, what did you make of that yesterday, John?
I tell you what, it was a good performance on the big man, wasn't it? Finishing third on debut, 100 to 1 he went off. How can he go off at 100 to 1? Alan Brazil, and not what we expected, really. I'm just reading the Racing Post comments here. He was outpaced early and then stayed on strongly in the running. So quite the opposite of Alan Brazil at the Cheltenham Festival, who obviously doesn't quite stay on at the back end of the week, does he, Mr. Brazil? He goes missing in the final few days. But that is an encouraging run from Alan Brazil. So we'll keep an eye out for him when he runs next. Steve-O flagged it yesterday, that run at Kempton. And we'll keep an eye on the entries and we'll flag that up because looking forward to seeing his next run. We'll see if he can come on for the run, Mr. Brazil.
There's a lovely story, John, worth a mention. I was looking at there. Amila Aswat made history at Kempton on Monday at Wins, becoming the first black British female jump jockey to ride in Britain. Lovely wee story.
It's a brilliant story, that. Yeah, I saw that yesterday as well. And that's one thing that, that horse racing has been criticised for in the past, the diversity. So, it's fantastic that we've got that first black jockey there, first female black jockey. And, the door is open for more, and hopefully that will encourage more, young black girls to take up riding and pick up the sport because, the sport will be better for that. So, fantastic story there, Bradley.
Brilliant. John, thanks very much indeed.
Have a good one, John. Good luck tonight.
Cheers, boys.
Good stuff.
Good game, Matt, tonight.
It is a really good game, that tonight. Both clubs are very, very ambitious indeed. That was a look at the latest odds, all thanks to Coral. 18 plus, gambleaware.org. Gary says, love the show. Best show on talkSPORT. Thank you very much indeed for that, Gary. Gravy or no gravy, that's a personal choice. As for Christmas decorations, there are 12 days of Christmas none of which were in November. Gary, very good point and very well made indeed. Coming, we'll turn our attention to Leeds after Adrian Durham said yesterday it could be time up for Daniel Farke.
With Leeds, I saw them at Brighton last week. They lost 3-0 and they were absolutely dreadful.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Football fans all have stadiums we love, but do any of us have a pitch we love? It might sound like an odd question, but pitches can be different sizes with big consequences. Why is that? And what are the actual rules behind it? Back when association football started, pitches could be 100 metres wide and 200 metres long. That's longer than Ellen Road. Not the pitch, the stadium. Anyway, UEFA wanted a standard across Europe, which became 105 metres long and 68 metres wide. But some clubs had been rebels, not intentionally, but because of the stadiums. Take Highbury, for example. It was 5 metres shorter and a metre narrower, meaning away sides had a challenge just to adjust. Today, Forest Pitch at the City Ground is a big one, 2 metres wider than others. But the smallest of all? Craven Cottage, just 100 metres long and 65 metres wide. There are a couple of crazy outliers in Europe too, such as Napoli's home ground, the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, where the pitch is a whopping 110 metres long. So UEFA have their standards, so do the FA, but they give pitches in England some wiggle room. Pitches can be anywhere between 90 and 120 metres long, between 45 and 90 metres wide. Just imagine a pitch that's 120 metres long and 45 wide. Madness. So there you have it. There is a standard size and most teams do generally follow it. But as we all know, size doesn't matter, does it?
Good morning to 8:35, very nearly. It's Tuesday, November the 11th, and there is outrage in the nation.
Understand it?
At the moment, and not just, on the text. I've got messages on X, George Walker says, what about Ray Parlour? Named even the teen boy, but not him. So many people are furious with you, Coisty.
Yeah, well,
because you left Ray Parlour out of the side.
Well, I can explain it.
Go on.
There's an injury doubt over Ray. At the weekend there, he effectively dropped a cobra bomb in his foot, and he's out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
I can tell you right now. Once Ray is fit, he's coming flying back into that team.
Right,
at the expense of either Crook or Goldstein.
Yeah.
He's straight in. In fact, I'll take it a step further. He might be my skipper when he comes back and he's feeling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just trying to curry favour with him.
Correct.
That's all. Lee says, has Jermaine Pennant upset you, Ali? Maybe he left his car somewhere after a night out.
Oh, they're all over me.
Yeah,
Come back to haunt me.
They are absolutely all over you at the moment. Boys, is Ali's team playing in the Sunday Walking League? They stand no chance. Now, let's move on, shall we? Because big weekend this weekend. Let's have a bit of this.
Get in the ring to win on talkSPORT.
Yeah, we've got a massive new prize up for grabs, and I'm not reading the next line. All right, it's a knockout.
Okay,
Who wrote that? Who wrote it?
It's them in there. I think Ed's responsible for that, mate. Well, give me the chance to win
knocking out
2 tickets to the highly anticipated rematch between Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and that is, of course, this Saturday on the 15th of November. And to get you in the mood, here's Conor Benn telling the boys in Drive yesterday why he is just so pleased and delighted that Eubank Jr. missed the weight in their first fight.
And do you know what? He tried so hard to make the weight. Do you know what? It just makes me laugh. Even now, to this day, it's so glorious. But the fact he was like 0.01 over, it's like I've never even heard of that before. So the fact that I've got paid 500 grand for him just being 0.01 over, It is magical. It is so special. That's never happened before.
Now, this also includes a one-night stay at a 5-star hotel in London, plus £5,000 spending money, so it should be an absolutely unforgettable weekend. This is how to enter.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word BOX to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission, or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 3338. All entries must be received by the 13th of November at 1 p.m. and you need to answer our call to win. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
Yeah, best of luck to you. Here's an interesting idea, Coist. Do you know sometimes the anticipation of something is better than the realisation of it? Tom in Leicester says, the last Sunday in November equals my last Sunday dinner of the year. Makes the wait for Christmas dinner that little bit better. So he doesn't have a roast dinner after the last Sunday in November. So he enjoys that Christmas dinner.
I like that.
Yeah. I think it's almost impossible to enjoy Christmas dinner anymore, to be brutally honest. It's just fantastic anyway. Yeah, I know. Looking forward to it, but we've got a little way to go just yet. One thing's for sure, you're not getting an invitation to the Parlour household for Christmas dinner. Now, spirited start of the season at Elland Road. Good start of the season, you have to say, for Leeds. It's gone slightly downhill for Daniel Farke's side. They lost again at the weekend, this time to fellow relegation candidates Nottingham Forest. 4 defeats in the last 5 league games. Their away form is a big issue, but they do have 11 points from 11 games. So, that would be enough. A point a game would be enough to stay up.
Back there just a wee minute.
Yeah.
Who had Nottingham Forest down as relegation candidates? Is that you personally? Or?
No, definitely not me.
No, well, I think you should maybe clarify that.
Well, I think the fact that they're in the relegation places.
Yeah. I wouldn't suggest they're candidates, though.
No. Oh, well, I don't think they're candidates. So the club was in chaos, that wasn't it?
Oh, yes.
With the appointment and the departure of Ange.
Agreed.
So, look, let's get more on this now and cross over to the former Leeds United striker, Ross McCormack. Morning, Ross.
Morning, Ross. How you getting on?
Morning, guys. Very well. How are we doing?
Smashing, mate. Smashing.
Good, thanks, mate. Daniel Farke seems to divide opinion at the moment amongst the Leeds United faithful. Do some of them expect a bit too much, do you think?
Yeah, probably. I think it just comes with the size of club that Leeds United are. They just expect, obviously, success. And listen, they've had relative success in the not too distant past. So they've had a taste of it. But I think this year was always just going to be about staying in the division. It doesn't matter how you do it, how many points you accumulate, but just stay in the division, and it gives you a good chance next year to then build. I think the start to the season, Jeff, has probably gave a lot of people a little bit more hope and expectancy. Like you said, 11 points in 11 games ain't a bad return at all. That probably be enough to keep you up at the end of the season. But if you look at their next 4 fixtures, dearie me, it can't get any harder.
No. Jeff makes an interesting point. The thing I would ask you, was Daniel Farke under more pressure than anybody else in the league due to the fact that there was some people suggesting he should, be replaced before getting the opportunity to play in the top flight?
Well, Ali, I spoke about this. You go back to, I don't want to go back to it, but Russell Martin at Rangers. There was talk in the summer that, the 49ers were going to let Daniel Farke go, and apparently they only didn't let him go because of the backlash that they were getting from the fans. So that's why I was saying at the time, if the 49ers are listening to the fans at Ellen Road, if they were listening to the fans at Ibrox, I thought Russell would have went a lot sooner than he actually did. So you can never guess what these owners are going to do. But listen, I think Daniel's got some credit in the bank, hasn't he? He's got them out a tough Championship division. He started well, so I think he deserves a little bit more time.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, one of their issues is goal scoring at the moment. Second lowest scorers in the top division. Starting Dominic Calvert-Lewin's not paid off yet. But I looked at Joel Pirro, 19 goals last season, 16 the season before that. Yet he hasn't started since the second game of the season. Are you surprised he's not been given an opportunity, bearing in mind the lack of goals?
Probably not starting games, Jeff, to be honest, but getting some good minutes off the bench. He probably entitled to think that he deserves a little bit more. I feel for him. I always thought there's a little bit of a league in between the Championship and the Premier League, and certain players are probably that's their level. And without being too harsh on Joel, I would probably put him in that category. Maybe not good enough for a top Premier League club, but definitely good enough to have a chance. But when you touch on Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think with someone like him, the team's got to sort of be a little bit built round him in terms of what I mean by that is your wingers and your fullbacks have got to look constantly to be putting crosses into the box, and I don't feel as if Leeds United do that.
Ross, what about the Villa? Terrific result of the weekend, up to 6 now. They look as though they've turned a corner.
Yeah, 1 point off the top 4 as well. A few weeks ago people thought they were struggling, but what's that, 4 or 5 in a row or something now? So, they were always going to be fine. The manager and that playing squad are just too good to not turn it round, so there was never a doubt there.
I mean, another one of your old clubs, Fulham, struggling a lot at the moment. I mean, they spent £35 million on Kevin and not much on anybody else. Do you think they're in trouble?
I think they could get sucked into it, Jeff, if they're not careful. But again, if you're talking about Unai Emery at Aston Villa, I also think Marco Silva is an elite coach as well. So I expect him to find a way to get the best out of these players. Kevin's an interesting one. That's a lot of money they've spent, and he hasn't played too much either. I look at it probably just as a flair Brazilian player who maybe doesn't really understand the position that Marco Silva's asked him to play, so I expect him to get better. The goal scoring one that's a big issue for me. Muniz, Jimenez, they flip-flap between both of them. None of them are really grasping it right now, so I think that's an issue for them.
Ross, brilliant. Thank you very much for joining us.
Take care, Ross. All the best.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
See you now.
Here's an expert lesson on how to keep the wife on side. Danny in Romford says, I take my wife to a different restaurant every week in December for Christmas dinner, knowing hers will be the best on Christmas Day. Oh, Danny, you've got her on side, mate. You've got her absolutely on side.
Smooth devil, you.
Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarx Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarx.
With Rob Edwards expected to be announced as the new Wolves boss imminently, we'll ask the question, has the negative reaction from members of the footballing community, or some members of the football community, been fair, including talkSPORT's Simon Jordan?
You would like to think that someone that was given an opportunity would have a little bit more integrity, and he doesn't. So he's gone to Wolves, and I would imagine the circumstances for Middlesbrough was one of disbelief.
We'll be talking more about that at 9 o'clock this morning, and that was our look ahead with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
Good morning, 8:49. It is Tuesday, November the 11th, or if you prefer, Tuesday, the 11th of November.
Have we got the bob on that yet?
No, yeah, I'm told one is American and one isn't. Hey, you know. By the way, thank you for all the texts this morning. Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic response. John from Birmingham says, Jeff, Ali's football 11 was brilliant. It made me laugh out loud from goalkeeper to the two front players. What was funny about the goalkeeper?
I get what was funny about the two front players.
He says, tell him, thank you for making me laugh so loudly this morning. Matt, who says he's a big Gravy fan, says, morning chaps, the issue with Daniel Farke is the nature of performances. We started off well and looked very solid. Very quickly, though, he looked like a wounded animal and clueless moving forward. Farke wasn't backed in the summer, but that is no excuse for the setup and in-game management. Let's head to the phone line, shall we? 03717 223344. This morning we've been discussing, amongst other things, Newcastle, and whether 4 years into the job things have gone stale for Eddie Howe. Ali said rightly, in my opinion, that Eddie has too much credit in the bank for fans to be calling him into question. Let's speak to Andy, who's a Newcastle fan. Morning, Andy.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ollie.
How are you, Andy? What are you thinking, mate?
I think he has got credit in the bank, but I think things have gone stale, and I think there's no place for sentiment in football, and nice guy Eddie isn't ruthless enough to take us any further forward. He's too loyal to players that shouldn't be playing. Ramsdale's a better keeper than Pope. Lewis Hall should be playing left back. I love Dan Burn. Dan Burn's amazing, but Lewis Hall should be left back. He done the same with Longstaff when he kept him in the team far too long. He done the same with Almiron. He's not ruthless enough to take us where we need to be. We're standing still.
Well, I take your point, Andy. Where I would disagree with you, actually, I'm not even sure you've stood still. I think you might even have taken a little step back the way, right?
We have.
But I still think Eddie is the man to take the next 2 steps forward. I genuinely believe that. And it's not just because he's got credit in the bank, which I also think he has. I just think he knows the club. And once he gets 1 or 2 players back, I think Newcastle will turn the corner. I really do.
I don't think it's the players that are there. Our recruitment's been terrible. We spent £160 million on 3 players in the summer, and they're all no good. They're not good enough for our club. Gordon doesn't want to be there. Gordon's bottled it. He doesn't want to be at the club. And we're standing still, and like you say, we're moving backwards. We're not any further forward than we were 2 years ago. Don't get us wrong. He brought us our first win. That moment down Wembley with me and my son will live with me forever. But he's not ruthless enough to take this club forward.
Andy, first of all, I would say Lewis Hall's been injured.
Yeah.
So they're just edging him. They're edging him back in.
But I do take your point. I think he plays.
Yeah.
I think.
But what makes you think that Aaron Ramsdale's a better goalkeeper than Nick Pope? I mean, I'm not taking either side, but what makes you say that he's a better goalkeeper?
Because I go week in, week out. And
but you're not seeing Aaron Ramsdale play, are you?
I have seen him play, and when he plays in goal, the whole defence just feels more comfortable, more calm. With Pope in goal, it's chaotic. They don't want to play the ball back to him. Even the away fans know that when the ball gets played back to Pope, he's gonna panic. He's gonna slice it out. He's gonna kick it out for a throw into them. You just don't know what he's gonna do, and that creates chaos in the back four. Okay. Ramsdale has been calm. When he plays, I've seen him play. We'll go home and away, me and my boy, and he's a better keeper.
Andy, you stay with us, but I want to have a word with Ken, who's also a Newcastle fan. Ken,
good morning, Ken.
What's your view on Eddie Howe?
I think it's absolute madness that fans are calling him out now. He's probably one of the most successful, nobody is one of the most successful managers we've ever had. Sure, he's got some credit in the bank. Yes, things haven't been going well away from home, but look at what performances in the Champions League and at home in general. I think get off his back. Just give him a bit of a chance. Are we really the type of fans that will sack a manager after a bad run? I would hope not. It's just madness. Yes, I do get that away from home, things haven't been going well, but man, take a step back, get a grip. Who we're going to bring in that's any better, that's available? Would mean starting again completely? It's madness.
Yeah.
Madness.
I've got to say, I'm certainly more with Ken than I'm with Andy. I think it'd be absolute madness. I do. Listen, I understand frustration, and a couple of the boys are correctly saying a couple of away performances. I've got not only Eddie scratching his head, but we're looking at it saying, that's a bit more problematic.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah. But we'll turn it round. Good grief. Where am I?
Ken, Andy, look, thanks very much.
Thanks, boys.
Indeed.
Okay,
I mean, it brought an instant response here as well. Lots of different views, in fairness. Ash, who's a Leeds fan, says, I think Eddie Howe has done as much as he can at Newcastle. They should part ways, so he's clear to come to Leeds. And next text is, Newcastle will not progress with Pope in goal, Benn in the back four, and Gordon up front three totally overrated players who are liabilities. I can't agree with that.
No,
I cannot agree with that.
I don't think so.
Or Dan says the caller has a point. Gordon's no better than St. Maximin. Pope is no better than Dubravka. Don't agree with that either, frankly, Dan. No. Do you?
No, I don't. I think the wide players, in particular, you do get a little bit of inconsistent play. St. Maximin used to do some brilliant things, but invariably you'd be pulling your hair out with him, you know, whether it was his final delivery, his final shot. And Gordon, to a certain degree, is a little bit like that, but I think he is more. I think he's more consistent.
Yeah. Eddie says same story last year about Eddie. Will he get the sack? Then we came fifth and won a trophy.
Yeah.
As I said, it was the same last Christmas. Didn't win any games before that. We played terrible, but Eddie brought us back.
I mean, seriously here, Jeff. And I think it was Sam that read out there. Champions League, you know, football, 2 years, you know, absolutely. They were brilliant in that League Cup final. Absolutely different class, and dominated that game and thoroughly deserved to get their first domestic. Was it first domestic since, what was it, 69? I can't remember.
Well, that wasn't domestic, that was the European trophy.
Maybe 55. Yeah, 55. You're absolutely right. So, come on, let's everybody calm down.
Adam says Newcastle fans have very short memories. They've had a bad run, but they're a good team and are playing Champions League football. Another Adam, says, I don't think we should sack Howe yet, but the first caller is correct. Howe is too loyal to his players. It will be his downfall. It's not the case of a bad run. This has been the case at the start of the last few seasons. Well, surely that proves the point then, doesn't it, Adam? If that's been the case at the start of the last few seasons, look at what seasons you've gone on to have after that. Yeah. You know, during the middle of one of those poor runs that teams have from time to time. But I feel that they sure to come out of it.
Do you think it's just a case of, and all fans to a certain degree are the same, and include myself, do you think it's just they're more impatient than ever? Do you think fans are now, because of the circumstances and because of social media, do you think fans now are just, you know, they're not going to give anybody the amount of time? You know what I mean? Look, for example, look at Ruben Amorim, right?
Yeah.
He's come out, their owner has come out and said, right, it's 3 years and that's it. Now, I don't know what you think. I think that's a good thing. Because straight away, everybody, and I know things can change, of course we know things can change, but it gives him the confidence, and also it puts in the players' heads, well, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, Sir Jim's told us that he's here for 3 years. So that is the complete opposite. He said, right, you're going to get your time. Let's see what you can do.
Yeah. Scott says more entitled fans on the show. And here's, it's not an text, but it's a good text. So just for the time being, we'll finish on Newcastle with this one. Eddie Howe is the only manager for Newcastle United FC. We're 2 wins off the top 6. Let's calm down. We spent Christmas outside the top 10 last season and finished in the Champions League. No manager could do any better. He has bought into the team, our area, and the fans. He represents our city with dignity and is our most successful manager for 70 years. In Eddie, we trust. People who want him out have very short memories. I think that's really well said, because he certainly has represented Newcastle with dignity 100%. And has certainly,
and class,
unarguably,
and class.
Yeah, and he's brought success.
Yeah.
Coming up, we'll turn our attention to the situation at Wolves. Has Rob Edwards made the right decision if he does go to the club? We'll discuss that next.
Corinthian Casuals are a team in the Combined Counties League Premier Division South. Despite that, they're one of the most important clubs in world football. Here's why. The club was formed in 1939 as the result of a merger between Corinthians FC and Casuals FC. Now, Corinthians FC were founded in the late 1800s when the FA's top brass were sick of getting pumped by Scotland every time they played them. As a result, a man called Nicholas Lane Jackson set up an amateur side which would bring in the best players who could all play for the national side. And it worked. It wasn't long before England were dominating the international fixtures they played, and it was largely down to Corinthians. In fact, in 1894 and 1895, they played consecutive games where Corinthians provided the entire England 11. But the thing is, the players refused to play professional football. They didn't believe in it. They wanted to spread the values of sportsmanship, competition, and played for the love of the game. It also helped that most of the players were Oxbridge graduates who didn't need the money. But instead of entering the league and cup competitions, they played exhibition football and toured the world, bringing the beautiful game with them. And it was this which spread the game throughout the world and made it so popular. Most famously, in 1910, they travelled to Brazil. And the locals in Sao Paulo were so impressed, they started their own team under the same name. Yes, the same Corinthians who won the FIFA Club World Cup in 2021, one of the biggest football teams in Brazil. Now, they were global superstars, and despite not being professional, Corinthians drew in the crowds. Everybody wanted to play them, everybody wanted to watch them. So much so, they regularly played the winners of the FA Cup in what eventually became the Community Shield, winning most of the time. They actually inflicted Manchester United's worst defeat, 11-3, a record which still stands to this day. Now, fast forward to today, Corinthian Casuals still don't pay their staff or players. The ethos of sportsmanship is still at the heart of everything that they do. And even though they're a side in the lower leagues, if you make the trip to King George's Field in Tolworth just off the A3, you'll most likely bump into Brazilian Corinthians fans who often make the pilgrimage across the globe just to watch their founding team play.
Good morning. It is 6 minutes past 9 o'clock. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me on this Tuesday morning, November the 11th. Now, Wolves might have just 2 points from 11 games, but it seems like that's enough for Rob Edwards to leave Teesside for Wolverhampton, and his confirmation as new manager is expected any time now.
He's got a square ball for Neto, who rubs salt into the Wolves' wound. It's in Vinny's position, only 2 points from 11 games.
Rob Edwards has now agreed a 3.5-year contract with Wolves.
I hope Wolves get relegated and he goes down with them and suffers a consequence of it.
I think eventually he regrets this because he could have stayed at Middlesbrough and he could have taken them up, and that would have been a massive story for him, that everyone would have looked at him and gone, do you know what, that's down to you.
So it's a miracle if he keeps them up. And if it's all about, I need to be closer to home and I used to be the captain, are those the real reasons? Are those good enough reasons?
Sometimes opportunities come along that you just can't turn down, irrelevant of how it looks. The negative aspect looks to a certain group of people, which is mainly the Middlesbrough supporters. It all kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's a Premier League job. He's obviously, I played with him at Wolves, so I know what he's about. I know his affiliation to the club. You know, there's a lot of that probably pulls on his heartstrings as well.
Yeah, that's right. It's divided opinion. No question about that. But Rob Edwards has seemingly decided that the Premier League's basement club Wolves, just 2 points, look to be heading for relegation, is the right move for him from second in the Championship, Middlesbrough. Of course, he used to play for Wolves, played more than 100 times for them, captained them, started his coaching career at Wolves, even took charge of them on an interim basis back in 2016. But talkSPORT Simon Jordan has hit out at Edwards for ditching Borough for Wolves.
You would like to think that someone that was given an opportunity would have a little bit more integrity, and he doesn't. And so he's gone to Wolves, and I would imagine the circumstances for Middlesbrough was one of disbelief initially, similar to my situation with Steve Bruce all those years ago with Birmingham. Middlesbrough have got some built-in protections that ultimately means that Wolves can't come along and take him without paying anything, which is what Birmingham tried to do via David Sullivan, which they got stopped doing. But they would have been disappointed, because then they would not have been surprised that Wolves were making overtures to their manager. What they would have looked for is their manager to have done precisely what he did in his press conference, which is basically distance himself from that particular opportunity and remind himself in the full glaze of the public domain that he was actually in a good job. And of course, then what he's done is he's done the atypical thing that most managers do, which is, but I'd like to go and have a chat with them. Once he said that to Middlesbrough, once you've said, well, actually, I'd like to go and have a chat with them, then where'd you go from there?
Well, the answer is Wolverhampton. Yeah. Quite clearly, that's where you go from there. But look, when you've got so many connections to a club, Coisty, and when your family lives around the corner, to all intents and purposes, do you understand why you'd be tempted?
100%. Absolutely. I understand why you'd be tempted. But looking at it now, it's a crazy thing to say, because I don't know that situation, right, with the family and travelling, and I understand the attraction and the pull because of those reasons, right? Now, I think those reasons and the pull to those reasons must be bigger than actually going to the club and leaving Middlesbrough itself. Because from where I'm sitting, and tell me I'm wrong, from a footballing position, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me, you know. So therefore, the pool of other things around it must be great. It has to be great. So that is probably if not the main reason, certainly a huge factor, because they're going to go down. You know, I mean, how's that going to look if they pass each other? And there's every chance it could happen.
And it would be a second relegation on Rob's CV as well. So, look, let's get more on this and cross up with the former Wolves midfielder, Dave Edwards. Morning, Dave.
Good morning, Dave.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali.
Look, first of all, are you surprised that Rob Edwards has seemingly decided to make this move from a club that looks like they could go up to a team which, with all due respect, looks very, very likely to be relegated?
Yeah, I was always going to be interested that when Rob was really connected, what his decision would be. I think from a Wolves perspective, I think it's a wonderful appointment. I think if it wasn't the connection he's got with the football club, I don't think Wolves would be in a position where they could get Rob Edwards, but they're lucky that he's been there as a player. He's been there for a long time as a coach as well. They put a lot of faith in him, give him a lot of opportunities as a young coach with the under-18s, 23s, first-team coach, interim manager, back to the 23s, helped him when he first dipped his toe into management with Telford. So they played a big part in Rob's coaching journey. So I think that gives Wolves the chance of getting him. Am I surprised? I feel like I am one of the people who I can really see where he's coming from, because I've got a similar relationship with Wolves. I played there for a long time, lived close to the football club, and if I had Rob's coaching background and was as good as a coach as him, then I would have made the same decision. Purely because football, nothing is guaranteed. I've heard a lot of people say this could come later down the line. He could do a brilliant job with Middlesbrough and get promoted. That's all if, buts and maybe. The only thing you can control is what's happening right now. And Wolves are in the Premier League. They do look like they're going to get relegated. But even if they do, if Rob has the promises from the board, from Fosun, that he can invest in January, and even if they do go down, he can try and build something. Wolves is a huge football club, and he knows it inside out. So I can really understand why he's taken this jump.
I get that, Dave. I do get it, believe me. Now, I'm not saying for a minute, listening to you there, that his heart has rolled ahead. not at all, but certainly it sounds as if what you're saying, and understandably, the heart has played a massive part in the decision. But looking at it, and you touched on it, I'm looking at the team, obviously, in recent times. You get rid of Semedo, Nouri, Cunha. There's a list of players left Wolves. And I look and I watch the performance at Chelsea, and I look at them, and they would never say it. There's a resignation that they're going to go down. But, it absolutely looks that way. So do you think Rob is going to take the job with a view, not in any way, shape or form, accepting that they're going to down? I'm not saying that for a minute, but he will have assurances that is the case. There'll be an opportunity to perhaps, get a few in and get back up immediately.
I think so. The football club needs a bit of a rebuild. It's very disconnected at the moment between the fan base and the ownership, really. And Rob will need some assurances that he can rebuild this football club, get that connection back. Of course, football is fickle, and even if they do go down, it's the manner in which they go down which will decide Rob's fate. If you look at his time at Luton, I think every single Luton Town fan will say that they went down fighting.
Yeah.
I think you look at the back end of that season, the team they had, they were odds on to go down, and they were in it right till the very end. And they never, in a game that I saw, I went and I commentated on a few of their games, and I never saw once a team that was expecting to get beat. They gave it a right go. Sometimes they run out of legs in the last 20 minutes because they put that much effort in. But I can guarantee if this Wolves team play like that Luton team does in terms of courage, effort, intensity, then these Wolves fans will really go with Rob Edwards. And then that will make up Fosun's mind that Rob is the man then to bring them back up. Of course, there's a long way left this season. And if you go and get back-to-back wins, which is incredibly hard in the Premier League, but if you can get a little bit of a run together, Wolves won 6 on the bounce last year. I'm not saying that the team's good enough to do that this season, but you can put a bit of pressure on the teams above you. You never know what's going to happen. But logic says Wolves will be one of those bottom 3 teams. But it's the manner in which Rob does it.
Look, Dave, thanks very much indeed for that. It's a very difficult choice for him. I think it's an impossible job to keep them up. That's for sure. Jerry, as a Bristol City fan, says, "Hi, Jeff Ali. Rob Edwards is so similar to Liam Manning. Left us to go to Norwich. Look how that turned out." Ray says, Rob Edwards made the right choice for his mid-term career. Everyone knows Wolves are getting relegated, but he signed a 2 to 3 year contract. The plan would be to build to get back up next year. If he misses out on promotion with Middlesbrough, he's in danger of getting the sack. It is a no-brainer, he says. Alan in Wallington, we talk about centre-halves. He said, come on, guys, how can Trevor Chalobah not be in the starting lineup for England? Also, Josh Acheampong is a must for the squad. Be quick, though, because he's eligible for Ghana. It's too early. It's too soon for Josh Acheampong. I think the problem with Trevor Chalobah was he got his one England cap in the game against Senegal, and that did not go well. It did not go well at all. They got it going over. But he has to be. Has to be in the manager's mind somewhere. Coming up, we'll ask the question, is the potentially available job at Middlesbrough the perfect place for Gareth Southgate to get back into club management? We'll discuss that next. Good morning to you. 19 minutes past 9 o'clock on Tuesday, November the 11th. A lot of reaction to the interview with Dave Edwards there about Rob Edwards. Sam says, what about Rob Edwards playing a huge part in Luton getting relegated from the Championship last season? Haven't heard much mentioned about that. Ant says, if Rob Edwards is that important to Wolves, why did they not approach him in the summer when he was available instead of sticking with Pereira? Complete madness, lack of ambition from Edwards. I'll have no sympathy when it all goes wrong. Ant, though, is a West Bromwich Albion fan. Chris says, is there some news that I've been missing? The Premier League's been cut down to 15 games, 27 games left this season. There's more of a chance of Wolves staying up than Middlesbrough being promoted from the Championship. Fans love Rob Edwards. Rob Edwards of the club makes complete sense. Total divergence.
There's more chance of Wolves
staying up than Middlesbrough coming up.
I'm not sure about
No, I completely disagree. Completely disagree. And I think the Wolves as well, you look at, they played two of the so-called big six so far. They've got some horrendous fixtures to come. And I don't think their squad's good enough now. I don't think they replaced the players they let go, sufficiently well. And I think that was Vitor Pereira's big issue, is the recruitment just wasn't good enough. And I know that maybe he had a hand in that, but... Anyway, look, good luck to Rob Edwards. He's a nice fella, and from a Middlesbrough perspective, hey, there are a few interesting candidates out there, aren't there? Right, let's look ahead to 10 o'clock, shall we? Big show coming up. Jim has all the information. Morning, Jim.
Good morning, Jim. Jeff, good morning, Ali. Good morning. You heard Simon earlier on, Jeff, talking about Rob Edwards and the prospect of him going to Wolves.
Yes. It wasn't...
No, the nice fella aspect of it doesn't really come into it.
Yeah, but we talk nice fellas, Simon's not really too au fait with that.
Exactly. A former owner's view, he's not having it at all. Loyalty, what loyalty? It's a massive fight week, Jeff. Eubank against Benn 2 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday night. Big media day yesterday. I can tell you, Eubank Senior and Benn Senior will join us both, Ali, in studio this morning. Not at the same time, it has to be said, in the interests of everyone's safety. But they will be joining us. And of course, the two fought back in 1990. Chris Eubank won it. Then it took another 3 years before they fought again. We had the rematch. It ended in a draw. We never get the trilogy. And we're going to be asking them why. But, I mean, the two dads in here this morning.
That'll be fantastic.
Looking forward to it.
I can remember those fights, Jim. They were absolutely outstanding. I mean, a great respect to the two boys.
Yeah.
The fathers were a different level.
I have to say, Ali, especially with Chris Eubank Senior, you never know what you're going to get.
We saw it the first fight.
Yeah.
When he turns up.
That's right.
Effectively just about stole the show.
That's right. So the two dads are going to be in studio with Simon and myself. Simon's still not having the fight, of course, Jeff. It doesn't interest him in the slightest. He won't be going. I was there for the first fight.
It was an excellent fight.
Unmissable, Ali.
It was
sensational.
I must admit, I wasn't 100% sure, right, about the fight, and then I watched it, and it's one of the best fights I've seen in a long, long time. It was absolutely fantastic. And then I thought, that'll do me. I don't want to see it again. And then, of course, the rematch gets in it.
I know. Well, nothing will...
And I'll watch it now. I will watch it.
Lord York will stay in the castle on Saturday night. The drawbridge will be up. He will not be leaving. Fair enough for that. And, of course, we'll start this morning. You guys no doubt have spoken about it. Liverpool have contacted the PGMOL to raise, quote, serious concerns about Van Dijk's disallowed goal in Sunday's match at Manchester City. And as we know, Ali, this comes hard on the heels of last week in Scotland, Rangers popping out their own statement to hit out at refereeing standards in the Cup semi-final loss to Celtic. It's done. It's done. The moments have gone.
Nothing. It's just
waste of time.
Is this not posturing, Jeff?
That's all it is. It is. It's posturing. It is gesturing. Nothing more than that.
Yeah. So a lot to get through. We're on at 10. I suggest you don't miss it.
We'll be there, Jim. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Jim. Enjoy.
Right now, it is time for this.
Ask me. Here's Ali McCoist. Oh, he's done it. Ali McCoist from Red Jones.
Are you winding me up?
No, I'm deadly serious.
You know where the creator of the Rubik's Cube came from? Came from Czechoslovakia. So there you are, have some of that.
You need to introduce me to this Tinder. Is it dangerous? You're a pair of numpties, so you are.
Let's be having you! Let's be having you!
Oh, gee, was I?
You were only supposed to blow up a bloody door.
What's that?
Yeah, I've nailed it, man. I've nailed it.
Ask me.
Yeah, it's time for Ask Ali. Let's start with topic one. Rob Edwards' imminent move to Wolves. Got a text, by the way, saying, why are Wolves getting so much grief because they've done things exactly the way they should in approaching Middlesbrough? I don't think Wolves are getting any grief whatsoever.
Far from
to
it,
be
no.
absolutely honest. We're just talking about Rob Edwards'
we're questioning
decisions.
the
Certainly not
decision-making.
questioning
Yeah,
Wolves.
not at all. Not at all.
Rob Edwards' imminent move to Wolves means there's an attractive job going at Middlesbrough. Gareth Southgate left them in 2009. We all know what's happened since then, but he is being tipped by some bookies for a return. What do you make of it, Coisty?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's great for Gareth, to be honest with you. The first thing I would say, I think if one of the best chairmen in the business by the proverbial mile, Steve Gibbs. I mean, what a job! What love he has for that club. It's absolutely amazing. I just think Gareth, if and when he decides to get back, it will be in the top flight. I do. I think that. I don't know whether you agree or not, Jay. You and I absolutely love that championship. Yeah. Love it. I'm not sure this year's standard is maybe just as great as previous years. I'm hopefully, I'm willing to get proved wrong, but I look at it and I'll continue to watch it. I think it's undeniably one of the hardest leagues in the country. But I'm just not sure this year, as I say, the quality is of what it has been. And plus the fact there's always a question mark about going back the way. It doesn't necessarily always work.
I agree, and I think Middlesbrough got a great chance of coming up this season. I really do.
Yeah.
Regardless of who's in charge. That would be great for Gareth. But do I think they've got a great chance of staying up the following season? Not so sure. Look, I mean, you need a crystal ball to decide who they're going to sign and so on and so forth.
The argument against that, Jeff, and I absolutely take your point. Myself, and there's still a long way to go. I'm not sure. I certainly could not see Sunderland be where they are at this moment.
No,
in time.
exactly.
And history would tell you that the last couple of years, the three promoted sides are going down. So it would naturally say it's going to be a struggle for whoever it is. Sunderland at this moment in time might be the exception to the rule, but at least they've given newly promoted clubs, a bit more beliefs to see that this can be achieved.
You are completely right. And if Middlesbrough do go up, I certainly hope they be able to strengthen and stay in that.
I think the one thing that we would be in total agreement, Steve Gibson would do everything to support the club and the manager.
Yeah. You're talking Gareth Southgate having a Premier League job. Mitch has texted, says Gareth Southgate lives within 5 miles of the Leeds United training ground. Just saying. That's actually Chris, who's a Leeds fan, who's texted that. Thanks, Chris. There isn't a job there at the moment, though. Elsewhere in the world of management, of course, within the Championship, Norwich and Southampton also have availability. So Middlesbrough, Norwich, Southampton. There's a certain Steven Gerrard out there who Rangers were interested in. Didn't want to start there, didn't want to go there at the time. Could you see him potentially taking any of those 3 jobs?
Yeah.
Which would be the best?
Right now.
Or the most appropriate for him, maybe?
He'd have to wait up, because, I mean, that's the one thing we saw when he knocked back the Rangers job, that he is 100% well within his rights to do his due diligence on the clubs, because it looks like that was the reason he didn't take the Rangers job. I'm not, which is totally understandable. And I think his next job, Stevens' next job is, and he'll get one, but I think it's absolutely vital that it's the right one for him. So he would look, Jeff, and answer your question, I don't know. I don't know at this moment in time which is the better of the jobs between Norwich and Southampton, because both of them are in free fall. Absolutely.
Well, Middlesbrough not, though.
No, correct.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. No, I'm sorry, I'm talking about Norwich and Southampton there.
Yeah, well, he's been connected with the Middlesbrough job as well. So.
Well, if you're asking me right now, which one of the 3 you're taking Middlesbrough all day.
And if you're Middlesbrough, would you be taking Steven Gerrard all day?
I think you might,
Mm-hmm.
I think you might.
Interesting.
Because, do you know the one thing you're going to get? You're going to get a really hungry man that really knows. I'm not saying it's a last chance saloon, but it might be the last chance saloon, because he has to get it right. So, and anybody in management's a gamble, Jeff, a completely gamble. But Steve Gibson, who is a very intelligent man, would weigh that up. He'd look at Stephen and say, maybe. Maybe.
Obviously, Gary O'Neill's another one who's out there at the moment, who's been mentioned in many areas. So I think he'd be a good get for any of those teams as well. Phil has texted and said, Steve Gibson, great chairman, 7 managers in 8 years, all of them in the Championship. So great chairman means what? Winning out and sacking managers. Phil, you know what? Steve Gibson saved that football club from extinction, and he has put large chunks of his fortune into the club as well. I'm sorry. I'm not having anything said against Steve Gibson. Coming up, we'll build up to Eubank Jr. against Benn 2 and ask the question, can this fight live up to the first? That's next.
Cricket balls are red, baseballs are white, American footballs are brown, and tennis balls are yellow. We don't even think about it really, but the story behind the tennis ball is actually quite interesting and even involves Sir David Attenborough. I know, here's the tale. Tennis has its roots in 12th century France when people used to make balls from all sorts. Cork, wool, chalk, animal fur and even human hair. Uniformity was found centuries later when people started making balls out of something called vulcanized rubber, invented in the US. But the balls kept on breaking, so a British lawyer, who also loved tennis, suggested they put a flannel covering on the outside, and thus the tennis ball as we know it was born. One problem, it was either white or black. And when the controller of BBC Two, Sir David Attenborough, decided Wimbledon would be shown in colour on the BBC in 1967, no one could actually see the balls on telly. So the International Tennis Federation went away and created a new colour called Optic Yellow, which would show up without the need for a 4K LED display. Not that anyone had that in the 1960s, of course. Since then, all tennis balls have been covered in that material and have their trademark colour for that exact reason. Amateur tennis players and dogs worldwide are forever grateful. You could say the ITF aced it.
Good morning. What is it? 9:35 right now on Tuesday, November the 11th. This is talkSPORT
Just a quick
Breakfast.
one. Did we mention Robbie Keane?
Yeah, I just mentioned him.
Sorry, I wasn't.
Robbie Keane and John Terry.
Usual, wasn't I?
Both great shouts. Both great shouts.
Yes, excellent.
And either which will be really interesting as far as Middlesbrough are concerned, I think. Now, where was that? Oh, yes, this is talkSPORT Breakfast.
Sorry about that.
With me, Jeff Stelling, and you'll gather, Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark get £750 off any used electric car or home charger. Now, this Saturday, Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn meet again in that highly anticipated rematch. Let's take a look ahead to the big fight now with DAZN. That's right, Saturday evening, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's hope it stays dry. Eubank Jr. and Benn go at it once again.
Big fight preview, Eubank Jr. versus Benn 2 on talkSPORT with DAZN. Watch the unmissable rematch live this Saturday, only on DAZN.
Eubank Jr. versus Benn on talkSPORT. Chris Eubank Sr. has turned up here. Listen to the crowd. Wow! Now it's fighting for real. Who's going to get the first telling blow in? Good right hand from Conor Benn as well. Oh, Eubank's gone. Eubank's in trouble there. The legs done the dance. What a big uppercut from Eubank. Maybe his best push to the fight so far. One thing Conor Benn has, he's got a good chin and he's got heart, and he's proven it here tonight. Eubank and then good body shots, right hand, left hand. No flies here, going for it, so big left hand. It's towards him, Benn's in trouble, and what a fight we've had there. Chris Eubank Jr.
I underestimated him. I didn't train for a fight like that.
I was always going to be here for my son. It's a show. Suspense is part of the game.
Eubank Jr. against Benn 1, that was. Today sees the grand arrivals of the two fighters in Canary Wharf. Our top reporters, Spencer Oliver and Gareth A. Davis, will be in attendance. On Drive yesterday, Conor Benn turned Andy Goldstein and Darren Benn, where it all went wrong for him first time round.
Listen, Eubank is a great fighter. I take my hat off to him. He has my respect. He had more courage, heart, desire and will to win than I thought he'd have. I thought it was curtains after the third round when I hit him with a left hook. And I genuinely thought it was going to be an early night. But he had a lot more heart than I thought. But do I chase this as redemption? Of course I do. Do I want revenge? Yes, of course I do. But ultimately, this is a fantasy fight for the British public that I'm glad I could deliver to everybody. And that was me jumping up 2 weight divisions to give everybody this fight. This wasn't on my radar. This wasn't a fight that was supposed to happen. We made it happen. And it's turned out to be one hell of a fight. But as I said, I'm excited to drop back down to 147.
Johnny is now live in the studio, former IBF middleweight champion Darren Barker. Morning, Darren.
Morning. How are you, lads? No, thanks for having me.
Good. What does Conor Benn need to do differently this time?
I'll get a little technical then. He needs to keep it straight and simple. I think emotions got the better of him in that first fight. He was desperate to knock out his arch rival, and that played into the hands of Eubank at times. And I think he's got to get behind the jab. He's got to be sharp. He's got to be intelligent. And you need to use the emotion in the correct way. You know, you can't let it get the better of you.
See what you're saying there, Dan? That's amazing. That. So am I reading that correctly? You think sometimes, in that particular case, he was concentrating too much and knocking them out rather than winning the fight?
100%.
Wow.
100%. Yeah, he just wanted to rip his head off. You could see in the build-up. Look, they're never going to like each other, these two. They're just not going to get on. And if they were to fight 100 times, there would be respect as you see him, but still, they would want to rip each other apart. And, I think that got the better of Conor Benn last time. The fact that he just wanted to get stuck in. And I believe they both can box better. I really do. I think they can do better.
As regards the upcoming fight, I think I'm right in saying Eubank Jr has just announced, or he's let the public know that he's got kids on the way, babies on the way. I mean, that's a big deal. Will that affect him?
I think in a positive way, Ali. I remember the birth of my first child, and it was like, well, I can't. This is not just for me anymore. This is for my daughter. This is for the kids. And I think it will give him that extra percentage. You know, when things get hard in these fights, these long marathon fights, if you like, 12-rounders, there's some lonely places. I'm telling you, you get in those 9th, 10th, 11th round, the championship rounds, as we call them, and you're feeling sorry for yourself, and it's getting painful, it's getting hard. You then realise, look, you've got to sort yourself out here because I've got a daughter at home who's relying on me, and it can be that extra percentage you need in those close fights. It's fractions, you know, in top level sport. The difference between winning and losing is millimetres, split seconds, and that could be the difference.
Yeah. I mean, almost the first fight, you know, brilliant fight from a spectator's point of view. Violent, vicious, grueling, all of those things. And you say that this time round, Conor Benn's going to approach it a little bit differently. So do you see a completely different fight this time round?
No, I don't, funny enough. Look, we call it round 13 when a fight just follows on from the previous fight. And I think it's going to be exactly that. It's going to be a war. That's why this fight is so fantastic. Not only do we have the family feud, the jeopardy, we've got everything, the storylines there, the narratives there. But we know, even if all of that was put to one side, that as soon as this bell rings, it's going to be fireworks. Because of the hatred that they have for one another, the family name that they're fighting for, the pride that is on the line, it's just going to be fireworks. Again, I think the atmosphere will just follow on from the Tottenham Stadium as it did last time out.
Well, it's funny, Dan, because the first fight, a lot of fights you get in, and you, as a fan, you're watching it, you don't really know what to expect, right? I thought the fight was out of this world. It was. I really did. I thought from start to finish, it was captivating. And I think you're probably right. I think even from Eubank Sr turning up, just the whole evening, the whole episode was just compulsive viewing. And I think that's why, because I must admit, I wasn't really too keen or too sure whether I wanted to see a rematch, because I thought that was it, you can't beat that. But the hypocrite in me now, I can't wait for Saturday, and I'll watch Saturday.
Do you know what it is, Ali? I think that the first fight was that competitive and that close, and I've watched it back twice since, and it was a little closer than I thought it was. But nonetheless, regardless of the scorecards, it was very, very competitive. And then that third round, we see Conor Benn hurt Eubank, so it certainly warrants a rematch. And here we are, and it's generating real buzz. And I just can't see it being anything other than fireworks. I can't. I can't. Like, they're just so emotionally involved. That surname that they both carry is so precious to them. That when that bell goes, it's going to be the same thing. Although I think they can both fight better, I think they're going to fall back into that mould again. And
we were talking
fire bombs.
We were talking about the two fights that Dad said.
Could history repeat itself? Could we see a draw? Could we see a draw, Ali?
Well, you know what? I mean, I'm looking at it, and it looks so hard to call as well. I mean, the bookies have obviously got Eubank Jr as the favourite, but I heard Jack Catterall yesterday saying that he thinks that Benn will win it. I've just been reading Steve Bunt saying he thinks that Benn will win it as well. So, I mean, it seems impossible to call.
Where are you with it?
Oh, I mean, I think Conor Benn's got it all to do. I do, because there's weight categories for a reason, you know, and he is stepping up 2 weights.
Yeah.
And we did see at times the physical advantages that Eubank had did take a real big part in the contest. But I just don't know. It's a tremendous fight. It really is. It's really getting the juices flowing. It is, you know. Like
I said to you outside there a couple of minutes ago, a couple of years back, Big Brazil and I was sitting here moaning about not getting the big fights. We're getting them all now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a time to be a boxing fan.
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, through the divisions. It's not, you know, usually the big fights would just be the big guys, the heavyweights, but it's not, you know, we're going down to, you know, middleweights here, and although they do carry these famous surnames, they're you know, they're really good fighters, brilliant fighters, and it's crossing over. Not just the boxing fan, it's the sports fan here. It's the person next door tuning in and saying, "Did you see that fight last night? It was incredible." And that's what we want as boxing fans. The more eyes, the more noise on the sport, the better.
Brilliant. A reminder, both the dads, Chris Eubank Sr., always an entertainer, and Nigel Benn will be live in the studio with White and Jordan just after 10. Darren, thanks very much indeed, mate.
Thanks for having me. Thank you. Cheers.
And that was a look ahead to Eubank Jr. against Benn 2 with DAZN. Watch the unmissable rematch live from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next Saturday, live only on DAZN. Loads of
fight preview. Eubank Jr versus Benn 2 on talkSPORT with DAZN. Watch the unmissable rematch live this Saturday only on DAZN.
Loads of reaction coming into talk of who's going to be manager, particularly of Middlesbrough next season. John says he's a Middlesbrough season ticket holder. I want John Terry as the new Middlesbrough manager. He's put in big block capital letters as well. Matt says, morning fellas, Gerrard, Corberan, or even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be very welcome at Middlesbrough for me personally. And Paul, as a Wolves fan, said, Rob Edwards must be mad to come back to our club. Our owners have left. Nothing will change. Fosun out. Another text, morning boys, Duncan Ferguson, a good fit for the borough. Yeah, and a forgotten man here. Hi, Jeff and Ali. What about Dean Smith? Great choice for Middlesbrough. He's manager over in the States at the moment, isn't he? Coming up, we'll bring you more on the news that Alan Brazil could be a future racing champion. Yes, you heard that right. That's next. Good morning, 9:50, Tuesday, November the 11th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Now, yesterday morning, we gave you the shock news that a horse named Alan Brazil would be running in the 1:30 at Kempton. And he didn't do half badly.
And Alan Brazil and Breeze Through Life takes that one well, and there's a chance for a third spot here, and this would be a very encouraging run. Coming now, fresh kicks, never been headed, Casino de Mott, and running on is Alan Brazil. Wow, finding some stamina from somewhere, not going to win, jumps that final flight, and actually jumps it pretty well. So actually, Alan Brazil has not been a total embarrassment.
Yeah, more stamina than his namesake usually shows at Cheltenham.
Oh, did I hear that? Running on is Alan Brazil.
Yeah.
Never. I thought maybe a sprinter, but I didn't see him ever running on.
Brilliant. Finished third at 100 to 1. Not too shabby at all.
In all seriousness, that's a good performance.
Oh, it was a good performance. Yeah. Two well-fancied horses as well. And Alan Brazil is actually well-bred. The horse, obviously, not the breakfast presenter. But, well, he could be very well-bred as well, for all I know. You know. Anyway, look. Alan Brazil, the breakfast presenter, is back on breakfast tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. alongside Super Ali.
And we'll find out whether he's very well bred or not.
Yeah.
Ask him a question.
And remember, the jump season is back on Racing TV. You can enjoy a free month right now. Live racing from Cheltenham, Aintree, Punchestown, so much more. Head to racingtv.com/free trial now to get your free month. The jumps look better on Racing TV. To celebrate, by the way, Racing TV is giving away a pair of tickets to the New Year's Day racing at Cheltenham, a 50-inch TV, and a year's subscription to the channel. Go to talksport.com/win to enter. 18 plus, T&Cs apply. Now, tomorrow we have a TalkSport grudge match on the paddle court.
We certainly do, Jeff. It's going to be interesting. Drive times, Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent will be taking on Jamie O'Hara and Gabek Bonlahoff for the bragging rights. And there's plenty of them, believe me, on TalkSport. They can watch the whole thing live on TalkSport's dedicated YouTube stream for the game. I can't believe this. Or listen to H&J from 1 p.m. for live updates. The production staff at TalkSport are trying to debate which pair would be more unbearable if they won. Oh, that's a flip of the coin. Delighted to say that the man who recently tried to become a professional pool player and did all right, by the way, and is now trying his hand at Paro, joins us now. It's a very good morning to Drive Time host Andy Goldstein. Andy, how are you? Good morning.
Morning, Andy.
I will give you both 100 to 1 if Alan Brazil can actually get on top of a horse.
Andy, first thing, before we discuss the upcoming encounter, the TalkSport battle, what is it with paddle? It has just gone absolutely crazy. We're in the process of opening paddle courts up in Govan and Glasgow. The world's gone paddle crazy.
It's gone nuts. Do you know what? Here's a little stat for you. This will blow your mind. In Spain, more people play paddle than football.
Wow, that's incredible. That? Well, I must admit, mate, as you know, we head over to Portugal quite a bit, and it's the exact same. It's the exact same. The tennis courts and the paddle courts are always full.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, in Portugal, I absolutely guarantee you more people play football than paddle. You know, you can make anything out of statistics, can't you? But look at this contest. Look at this contest, Andy. Benty, Gabby, Jamie, all ex-professional athletes, and you. Where do you come into this?
Firstly, Jeff, I don't like the tone in your voice. Definitely, they are. You are right. They are. But only Benty looks like an ex-athlete, right? The other two look like the Chuckle brothers on speed. They between, honestly, I've got, I don't know if you remember back in the day when McEnroe used to play doubles with Fleming. Do you remember that?
Yes.
They would always win.
Yeah.
I'm the Fleming to Benty's McEnroe. But the other side of the court, I swear to you, they will do well to come second in that contest tomorrow. They have absolutely no chance whatsoever.
And how are you going to handle, without giving too much of your weaknesses away, but I guess you'd be a little bit susceptible to a lob. How are you going to counteract this?
Oh, sorry. Why would I be susceptible to it? What are you suggesting?
In fact, you're 4'3".
Excuse me. The last time you and I had a chat, I was looking down at you, not for the first time. What are you talking about? Well, my guessing, looking at the two of them, and O'Hara is so out of shape at the moment, even just bending down for the ball might put his back out. And all Gabby's going to do is just start giggling over the place. I can't genuinely see anything other than not just a win for me and Benny, but a comfortable, easy victory. They have absolutely. It will be a bigger upset than when Natalie Sawyer beat Benn at the darts. It'll be bigger than when Wimbledon beat Liverpool. It will be, and you can quote me on this, the greatest sporting upset of all time. If those two idiots beat me and Benny tomorrow, it just will not happen.
What time's the kick-off?
Well, me and Benny are getting there for 9 a.m. to warm up. I think it's starting about 1:30. I'm not too. I should really know that. Well, you should know that information. You should have a cue sheet in front of you with that. I have no idea.
I've just read it, but I wanted you to give yourself a plug.
What time am I playing, Ali?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
Can I just tell you also that a big thanks to my sponsors, Goldstein's Golden Paste, my hair product from DamonBarber.com, without which none of this would have been possible.
Yeah. I tell you what, as well, mate. You know, Bentley's already reeling because Ali picked his Sunday League 11 today, and Bentley was only on the bench. How's that? You know, you were in the starting lineup.
I've got you.
Bentley was only on the bench.
But listen, I love Bentley dearly. But there's no.
Yeah.
I'm playing a 4-4-2, and me and Brazil are up front. So Bentley will have to. I did say that Bentley will come on for Big Al after he tires, which will be about 3 minutes.
You did. Hold on. You didn't put Bentley on the bench and pick Theo Walcott ahead of him, did you?
No, I didn't. Theo's not getting a game either. Theo's not getting a game either.
Where did you pick me, Ali?
Right back.
What, in the dressing room?
No.
Why right back?
Right back alongside the moose,
Andy. Because
alongside the moose, Andy.
Because I didn't have one, mate.
Okay, well, listen, some of the greatest players in the world have been right back, so I'll have
absolutely.
To take that.
Yeah, Gary Neville.
Can I ask as well, when we beat tomorrow, when we beat O'Hara and Gabby, who's next for us? Because we've called out Simon Jordan, and my understanding is he's bottled it. He agreed, and then he heard it was me and Benty, and then he changed his mind. That's my understanding.
I'm gonna have a serious think about it. I'm gonna have a look at my physical shape, and I might throw my name into the ring at some point.
Ali, you couldn't even be a ball boy for the game.
Andy, good luck, mate.
Thanks, man.
Enjoy it, mate.
I look forward to smashing the living daylights out of the pair of them. And by the way, me and Benny back to that 4, obviously.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Don't forget updates from the game from 1 on H&J tomorrow. I think the paddle tennis is sort of for people who can't play tennis. I'll be brutally honest, mate. I do. It's people who can't serve properly. You know, that's who it's for. You know, that's why they all play it.
Oh, it's a good game. I mean, it's for people that can't run about like me. I can't serve either at tennis, but I can't run about.
Look, just before we go, a great final text here, talking about Alan Brazil. He said, boys, I'm not sure about well-bred. I know he's well-fed.
I'll certainly ask him. There's 1 or 2 relevant questions I'll be asking him tomorrow morning.
I'll see you next week. Alan and Ali back tomorrow at 6. Don't forget Jim White, Simon Jordan, Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank are up next. Bye-bye for now.